Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along with Mike.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Spence and Bruce are not going to be with us today. Spence is somewhere in the mountains here, and Bruce, I think, is playing in the church band this morning. I think that's what it was.
Bruce is on an airplane in Lynchburg, Virginia, on the way to Florida. And what happened to my video? Oh, it's mine and your video on the return video. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm going to do away with it. That's why I'm peeking over here. I'm saying, why is it peeking?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
It actually went, it distorted. It went...
kind of squeezy?
Reverse anamorphic.
Okay, so that's where he's at. But Nick is going to join us. What were we talking before we went up on the out?
What?
There was something we started talking about something.
We were talking about Roku.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that I guess people do watch. You have a Roku.
I do.
And do you watch live shows? Do you pay attention if it's live?
Well, the answer to the question is probably no. If that were the only way I could access something I wanted to watch, I would not hesitate to watch it.
Right.
That being said, I probably have not watched the Roku 5 hours since I've had it. But I like having it. It's a neat little box. I've said it before, this remote control that comes with it is Bluetooth. It's just awesome. Every remote control ought to be Bluetooth because you don't have to be inside of the TV or the Roku box. You can have it under the cover. If you get in bed and it's freezing cold, you can operate it with your hands on. I mean, it's just amazing. It's Bluetooth. It's not line of sight like the infrared remote controls that come with most televisions. That being said, I bet 50% of what I've watched on the Roku. Yeah, I guess some of it would be live because I guess about 50% of what I used to watch was Twit. And what I would do some Sunday afternoons when I was doing nothing else is I would turn on Twit on the Roku and just let it run.
Yeah, well, Twit, I'm sure, has enough bandwidth in their own servers. We were talking about why we don't do it live. The reason why I was asking you is I was wondering if you were watching something else live, if it looked okay, if it looked good. Because I remember Andrew complaining about the picture that the Roku is sending, the live picture that it's sending. But
and what you were telling me, if I understood you correctly, is that since Roku is simply a redirection,
right?
In that they're going to point the Roku box to the stream that you provide to it. So
Correct.
That means that if 100 people wanted to watch, you have to be able to provide 100 streams.
Correct.
Which ain't going to happen.
And not only that, but it is a special server. They don't take just an MP4 and take it out. It's a special format I can't remember the name of it, and they require you to have that, and that's not, none of the traditional CDNs provide that except Ustream, and their version of it is really just for mobile phones. I mean, for phones, for smartphones. So it's real little, and when you blow it on a TV, it's worthless.
Doesn't that make Roku pretty useless for the small guy?
Well,
for video, not audio.
You mean for the provider of?
Well, like for us. I mean, we're
for
not
us,
going
for providers, not for watchers.
No, not for watchers.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
Netflix
yes.
doesn't.
Yes, it does. Yep, you're right.
Yeah. But when we first went on Roku, our viewership went up. What am I thinking here? What happened?
That's because they find out that there is such a show and it's live on Sunday morning, and they go to the computer to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, on TV, what is live other than the news? Everything else is recorded, really. Maybe a few things here and there that are not. But most everything on TV is recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with the Roku, I think.
And I don't watch a lot of TV. I mean, I watch The Blacklist on NBC.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying it as a comparison.
But the other shows that I watch, I mean, I'm a live person. I like live things. I like to know what's going on now. And for a TV show, it's irrelevant. I mean, it's nothing. There is no such thing really as a live TV show. Good Sunday morning to you, Merle.
Hey, Merle. But yeah, so I mean, what happened is I asked Ron to create a server on one of our, I mean, the application, it's called a server, on one of our servers at TW Telecom, and he did. It took him about a day, but he built a server that will support what we're looking for. But it was eating up bandwidth real quick.
Well, why was that? Were people watching it?
Each person that's we were in the chat, in the Hangout, and I said, okay, guys, here's the link. Go there. And I was checking to see what kind of bandwidth. And each person that came to watch, it was 1.5 megabit. So,
well, that's too high anyway. It should have been 500K.
Well, yeah, but it's if you do it like that, I don't know. Nick is the one that told me to do it at a certain rate,
right.
And it just, I mean, for that, I didn't think that it was worth it. I mean, it's still there, and somewhere I have the link. And as a matter of fact, it's doing it right now, but nobody's actually watching it.
So you're streaming.
It's
so if
working.
I go to live now on Roku.
No.
So what are you saying?
No, I'm saying that server for that. Why am I thinking HLN, HL something? I don't know. When Andrew comes in, he'll tell us. But it's still working. It's not streaming anywhere, but it's working there, encoding. And if I knew what I did with the link, it's written on some paper here. I could give it to you, and you can go there and watch. Maybe I'll find it during the show, if you want to find it. But I'm going to give it just to you.
Oh, I'm just curious.
Yeah. If we had the whatchamacallit, Google Fiber, then it'll be worth doing. I mean, then you can actually use it for that purpose.
I just went to Roku on the NCN Live feed, which is audio only.
You see, I don't understand this.
There's nothing there.
Nothing is going on into
No,
it?
I was listening to the show before we started this morning.
Yeah.
Now that I've gone there and clicked on it, on the live feed, there's nothing there. There's no audio.
That's a Nick thing. See, yesterday, Nick and I were talking, and we moved the RSS file to my server instead of it being over there. And he said it'll be a whole lot easier to update. And when I was looking, I saw it's only the video, and it seems like I remember something about audio in the beginning before we started doing video. It was just audio, correct?
That's what I recall.
You're right.
I know that when we first went on Roku, we doubled our viewership, our live viewership.
Maybe we're missing something. Maybe I'm missing something that I'm not starting.
Now, anyway, we don't want to get too deep into that now.
No, but when Nick comes on, remember that, because that's a good point. Good point.
Actually, the audio just started on the Roku.
Wow. How much of a delay is there? A bunch.
Oh, probably a minute.
Jeez.
You just said Google Fiber.
Yeah. Okay, so at least it's working.
Yeah, it's working. It's working, which is good. And considering what you and I look like, audio only is not necessarily a bad idea. Merle, why don't you call in? Audio or video.
People, what are you doing up? I mean, I can understand us up, but this is now 8:15 in the morning, Sunday.
No, it's not. It's 9:15.
Well, I know,
9:13.
but the internal clock says 8:15 still. It's going to take time.
I woke up. I don't. You know what?
By the
I
way,
posted some stuff in our group and get up this morning and read it.
yeah,
I don't remember writing it. I must have been exhausted.
it was a good show yesterday on Rex. It was, but just like you were saying before, there is Merle. Hey, Merle.
Hey, how are you guys?
Can't hear you.
Oh, no.
Merle?
Yeah, hold on.
Keep talking, Merle.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, I mean, it's way.
Yeah, go Tools, Options, Audio Settings. Watch your indicator there. See if Skype has started doing some really funky stuff lately. It's actually started turning down your input volume. For most computers, the Skype input, microphone input level has to be set all the way to the right.
Way. Yeah.
You hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that was it, Mike.
Well, there you go. It's almost like I've done this before.
That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a Skype thing. What are you going to do?
Gee.
Mike, does it turn it down even if you don't have the automatic checked?
Yeah. It bumps it down just a tiny bit, and you have to go in. Andrew, when I would talk with Andrew, he said, Mike, you're low. Well, if Andrew says it, then you can count on it because he's tuned into that sort of thing. I immediately then started doing some research, and what it is if you go into Tools, and this is Skype for the PC, Tools, Options, Audio Settings, you will see that you have two level controls, one for the microphone, one for speakers. What I have learned that after a certain Skype update, the volume control for the microphone has to be all the way to the right. You cannot bump it down any. It becomes necessary to control the feed going to Skype through your mixer or microphone. You cannot control it through this moving dot anymore on most systems.
Mine was all the way up. I just checked.
It has to be up.
So
and if it bump, I'm going to bump down one notch. Where's my volume now? Has it changed much?
Yeah, it changed big time.
I mean, I barely moved it.
Yeah.
Now I'm back all the way up.
Yeah, I found that before, but I didn't know that it'll do it even if it's not checked.
It does it between rebooting the computer.
Guess what? Wait a
Reboots of the computer.
Mike, hold on a second. Let me...
So, Merle.
Do we have somebody
Yes, sir.
on... We have somebody on Block Talk Radio. Hold it.
All right.
Let's see if I can. Yeah. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. You sound, both of you sound really cool. I'm glad to hear that there's a computer show on Sunday morning.
Who is this?
That's great. I'm Bob down here in Newburgh, New York. I've never been on the show,
Oh,
but I'm enjoying it so far. Sounds good. Sounds like you guys put together some sort of networking webinar software, right?
well, it's a streaming webinar. When you say webinar, I think business. It's sort of like the same thing. Yeah.
No, we are not software developers. We're broadcasters.
Yeah, we're broadcasters.
That's
Not
great.
good ones, but
That's
we do
great.
it anyway.
Yeah, I started back in radio in 1969 while a Marine down at Cherry Point, North Carolina, and operated a station there on the base, and also had a show from 6 p.m. to midnight, and then midnight to 6 a.m. at a station called WVWB-FM, Bridgeton, North Carolina, just 17 miles up the road. I enjoyed it. It was a call-in show, and I'd be a DJ for 6 hours, and it was cool.
Nice.
I called in this morning. Hopefully, I was looking for a show that could possibly help me. I've never been in a situation like this before. I've always taken care of it myself on a computer. But this is a situation. I got a notice from Apple, an email, saying that iOS 7.0.6 was available. So I went up and connected my iPhone 4S to the computer, and it brought up normally iTunes and also a couple of little tiny windows. Working fine. I upgraded to 7.04 for some reason. Then did an update, and everything started off fine. It said it was processing, blah, 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 through iTunes. And all of a sudden, the arrow up appeared on the phone. I haven't seen that for a long time. And then it went into the usual white apple in the middle with the progress bar underneath. Well, after an hour and a half, it stayed in that. It stayed with no progress going on. So all of a sudden I saw this Apple Mobile whatever USB notice underneath. It looked like an upgrade. So I clicked on it. And then the two little windows that come up with iTunes disappeared, and nothing was going on with the phone. So right now it's locked up. I can't shut the iPhone off, and that's my business number. I'm launching a page today, and I can't put that phone number in because I'll be taking credit cards over the phone. And unfortunately, I got to use another phone number, which I didn't want to use. And I am perplexed. I wonder if there's a workaround to that, a fix that you know of. Do you know what I mean by two little windows show up when iPhone is when iTunes is activated? Comes up as soon as you plug in the cord to the computer. iTunes starts up automatically with those two little look like tiny windows that ask you, to download or upload video files or whatever, from the iPhone to the computer. Well,
for starters,
those are gone.
The iTunes only pops up if you tell the computer to which you're connecting your phone that you want it to connect automatically. It's programmable.
Well,
you can tell it not to do that.
Well,
for example, when I connect my computer, I don't have it connect to iTunes automatically.
I see. Well, I don't know
Now-
how to do that.
Well, let me ask you a question though.
Yeah.
Are you saying now that your phone is locked up?
It's connected now. I'm going to take the cord off the phone. I pressed the button down on the bottom. Nothing has taken place. Now I'm holding the button down. 5 seconds. Usually it's gone. Well, there's nothing going on in the phone. It is locked up right now.
All right.
With
So
the
have you
apple
done
in the
a
middle.
reset where you hold the power button and press the home key at the same time?
Okay, I'm going to do that now. Push them down at the same time.
And hold them, yeah.
Okay, I'm holding both down. Oh, the little apple's gone away. Thank you very much.
Well, that
Now,
Wait.
what do I do next?
Hold it. Go ahead, Mike.
just wait. You have to wait now.
Oh, wait.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
That should restart it and cause it to reboot. Just so that you will know, since you're not a regular listener, we're not big Apple fans around here. We have Apple
Oh,
products.
Lord. Sorry.
No, not at all.
I'm not a
I've
big
got one right
Apple
here in my hand. I use one. But I'm not sure Amnon's ever seen one.
No.
But what I was going to tell you is that normally we have some Apple guys around here who can give you a lot better answers than we can. But it being with the time change, they're still asleep. If this does not solve your problem, we can probably get you a better answer in an hour or two. But I suspect that's going to solve your problem,
Wonderful.
because once you reboot the phone, there's not a lot more that you can do. The other things that you would have to do to solve that problem could be involved. But in my experience, that hard reset, if the problem can be solved by you, the hard reset typically is going to resolve it.
Well, nothing's happening. It's the screen blanked out. I haven't touched any buttons.
All right.
Should
Well,
I
then
try to
now hit the power button.
Power button.
Right.
Okay, here comes the white apple.
There you go.
Okay, now it's coming in with a cord with the arrow going up to the iTunes. Thank you very much. That shows up. Now let's see if that solves the problem. I do appreciate that. I didn't know that. And
Yeah.
I normally don't read instructions, for everything like most people. We want to start using, the equipment right away because I trusted Apple. But I was ready to throw that phone out in the middle of the street a few times so that nobody could ever use it. And
Yeah, I feel your
just go out.
pain.
Yeah, go out and I've had that since the 4S came out. It was an upgrade when I had AT&T. My bill was $300 a month for about 3 years. Put a lot of money into AT&T. It's a shame, but I got to get rid of Apple. I can't put up with that anymore.
Well,
And
in
anyway,
Apple's
I'm just-
defense, none of these phones is trouble-free, and AT&T is not a perfect carrier either. I mean, the whole cell phone industry is just eaten up with bad stuff, in my opinion.
Well, besides that, I mean the
Yeah, well,
fees-
besides that, yeah.
I've been in computers. I was a mainframe operator. 1902, I graduated from the mainframe operator school and went immediately. This is September of 1982. Immediately went into the microcomputer industry. Went to work for a software company, not a software company, but a retailer called Banana Software in Silver Spring, Maryland. I lived down there in Alexandria, Virginia at the time, and heard about this company that had transportable equipment with an attachable printer. And I heard that the Chief of Naval Operations at the Pentagon needed a transportable. Nobody had one except this one company called Jonos International. And they said, I'll tell you what, you fill this need, we'll hire you. So what happened was I went in there. They sent me a unit right at the airport, picked it up, called up the Navy and talked to one of the ensigns there in his office. and made an appointment for the next day. So I carried it over, didn't know anything about the machine, had CPM on it, not even CPM Plus as the operating system, and walked in there, and what the CNO wanted out of the machine was to immediately have an ensign type in his speech on one half of the paper linearly down, 8.5 straight down, but leave the other half of the paper open with nothing on it, and then print it out right away. So they printed it out where he went to give a speech, and what the blank space was for was to put down the questions that his audience would give him after his speech. So then his ensigns would type in all the questions where he had them in the speech, close to the information he gave everybody in the audience. So he would use that to jog his memory, these questions, and the next speech he gave, he would try to incorporate what he gave as answers along with the question. So he would keep building up the same speech, and it was a good idea. And I said, well, I have the solution for you right here. This is an 80 dots per minute, right? No, 80
dot per inch.
Per inch.
Yeah, and I said it'll work for you. Here's a program called Spellbinder. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but Spellbinder would split the screen on the screen for the page. So when it printed out on that attachable printer, it would print out exactly what was on the screen. And the CNO fell over backwards. He said he wanted 3 of them, and he's going to have each one of his ensigns carry one. It was a great machine.
Oh. It was making any money?
Well, yeah, initially. I went to work for the company and went to all these trade shows all over the country. I was in some of the very first Comdexes ever put on, and went to Las Vegas. Of course, that's the big one. Every January they have that, and Atlanta, Georgia's the next big one. Mm-hmm. Boston's a big one too. But yeah, I've seen a development of telephony and communications. I was even sent equipment, server and all, token ring and all, by IBM to be part of their OS2 development team. I did the working on the IPF files, the information, INF files, the information files for help. So it was quite interesting. It took 32 disks to load up OS2 at that time. 3.5-inch diskettes.
All right, now let me ask you a couple of questions.
I was there in the beginning. Yeah.
Let me ask you a couple of questions here. First of all, how did you hear about it? How did you stumble on the show? I really want to know.
Okay, how I did it was, it's hard to explain, but let me try to explain it as simply as possible. I use what is called synchronicity. Instead of me telling God what I want, telling him exactly like I'm planning things out, I just put out a general concept that I have this problem, and I know you can help me solve it. Mm-hmm. Anything that you can show me, anywhere you can lead me, I'll go there. And sure enough, he'll somehow lead me right into where I want to go.
Okay, now, did you do this on Blog Talk Radio or just in a search engine?
I did it on Blog Talk Radio.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I do that is because I've had a few shows on and deleted a lot of them, and I'm going back on again with another show for my new product that I'm putting together. and I'll be asking for members all over the country to participate. So I'm getting ready to go back on the Blog Talk Radio again with my own show called the Robert M. Barber Show.
Nice.
And start talking about what the big problem is coming to the United States. It's already here. But
What is it?
It's going to grow worse and worse. Yeah, pardon me?
What is the product?
That's the TRMBS rat killer.
Oh,
That's it's a information file that there just aren't enough exterminators in the country to start killing rats as fast as possible because the Black Plague is here. You haven't heard about it in the news yet, but it is in the news worldwide. About one newspaper just leaked it out about the incident in Madagascar they have yearly. But this time it's going to various places around the world, just all of a sudden starting to pop up. And then we hear, a couple of weeks ago, a 10-year-old kid was bit by a rat in San Diego and died. And now the parents are suing Petco for selling them a rat that was probably infested, but maybe not the plague, but with some sort of disease. All the kid wanted was a male rat. It was a pet rat, supposedly, because he had a female rat, and, he wanted the rats to make a family. So, yeah, the rat, this is in the news. Fox News broke the story. Fox News did. And it's the only news story in the United States. I mean, they are keeping this whole thing hush-hush because we have about 15, 16 cases of Black Plague in the United States about every year, mostly in the western states because that's where the disease is found in a foci. Foci is the bacterium that just lays on rocks and trees and stuff like that. And innocent people walking through those areas, if they touch it, sort of like poison oak, poison ivy, they'll get infected. But the big danger is this. The fleas that are on rats, if they're on an infected rat, a rat that is infested with Black Plague, the flea bites it, it becomes infested. It becomes a carrier now of the Black Plague and jumps on another rat because it goes to its own kind. But if it can't find its own kind, it'll jump on any furry animal. And then when there's no furry animals around, after it infects those animals by biting them, they'll jump on humans and bite the humans. They're about 1/10 the size of a cat flea. It's very small. You can barely see one of those fleas. So each rat may have up to about 100 fleas on it. They're very tiny.
We're going away from we're going away from what we're doing in the show here.
I know, but you asked me. So anyway, let me get off of that subject.
how's your phone doing?
That's what I'll be. My phone?
Yes.
I haven't plugged it back in. Let's see. Ew, it went off. Let me just turn it back on. It went off on its own. Okay, here's the Apple. Okay, there's the cord. I'll tell you what, I got it plugged in a computer side. Let me put down that. I got, in fact, I'm going to take iTunes back off. Here we go. I'm going to plug this back in and see what happens. I just want this 7.06 to go on there. All right, I just plugged it in. Installing device driver software. Oh, very strange. Very strange.
Because one of our Apple guys is in chat now, so if you still have another issue, he could probably give us a better answer than we are able to give you.
And let me tell you this.
We have an echo.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
You sound like a technical person. We
Well,
they-
I
no let
dabbled
me
in
let me
networks,
finish.
you
Let me
know.
tell you. You stumbled on us on Block Talk Radio. We only use Block Talk Radio for their telephone service. The show is actually involves video. I mean, you can log in and you can watch it, and you can chat with the rest of the people that are on the show right now. If you go to www.computers2know.com, it looks like computers, the number two, to know. Computers to know, to Computers 2K Now. And you can watch it live and interact with the people in the chat. I just wanted you to know that.
Okay, www what?
Computers, the number two.
Is that with an S?
Yeah, plural. The number two,
Number 2.
2K, like 2000, 2K,
Oh, 2K. Okay.
now, NOW.
All one word?
All one word.com.
.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Computers
let me,
2K
let me
now.
go in there real quick.
So you
I'm
can.
going to go ahead and just copy that in there.
All right. Sorry.
I
Mike.
always put it in Notepad. I put it in Notepad so I can save all these things, and one day I'll look at. Okay, it just brought up iTunes just for your information. It says iTunes must check the iPhone. I do not see the iPhone icon that's next to the iTunes store on the right-hand side underneath the search library when iTunes first starts up. So I'm going to click on Check Now and see what happens. iTunes has detected an iPhone in recovery mode. You must restore the iPhone before it can be used with iTunes. I clicked OK.
It sounds like you're on the road.
see- Yeah, there's nothing taking place, however, up at the top. It usually has a progression bar, barbershop line style that moves to the right. Nothing's taken. It says it's in the. Oh, check for update. I got to click the button. Check for update. Nothing's taken. It says restore iPhone. God, I hate to do that again. That's what I did last time. And well, it looks like restore iPhone. Let's see what happens.
That should be putting your
Automatically
data
check
back
for
on there.
right-
It shouldn't be trashing the phone. I mean, the iPhone is supposed to be pretty hard to mess
Well,
up.
it only gave me a dark restore iPhone. It won't let me check for an update. It's lighted out, you know. And so I'm going to check, automatically check for iTunes iPhone updates. All right. Are you sure you want to restore the iPhone? I better, right?
I'm assuming so if you don't have any other options.
There we go. It says it's extracting software on the top. There's a progression bar. I just hope this works. I really thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to bring. I use Chrome. I don't know if you guys have anything
No, it's
good to say
good,
about
good,
that,
very
but-
good. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna paste and go your show or the URL there. I hope I have it spelled out right. Okay, you have a black navigation bar with a white content. Computers 2K now since 1993.
Yeah, we used to be on the radio. So on the
Wow.
left side, click on Watch Live.
On the left side. Now I was looking at the three pictures there.
In the
Which
menu,
one is which one?
On the left side of the page, there's a menu.
Yeah, watch live.
Yep. And
Click on that.
and then you can log into the chat. Just put your name there. And
Wow.
and you'll be with us.
All right, where's the chat at? Where do you?
When I
Oh,
mean,
it says chat loading. Please wait.
Yeah.
It says please wait. Okay, I see it coming up. This is very nice. I would love to do something like this also for my members and people signing up for my service. This is perfect. Now, which one is who? I see a person moving his head over there.
I'm the good-looking one.
Amnon? Amnon?
That's me on the left, and Mike is on the right.
Mike is. So who's talking now?
You are.
Someone's smiling. This is cool. Now, how do I get my picture in there?
There's Mike.
Send us a check.
No, you can't get your picture in there.
I can't get it in there.
No.
So it's a half webinar then. Because
Yes,
usually
it's a broadcast.
Right, it's more of a broadcast.
Well,
I like that.
When you're watching the news,
I like that.
When you're watching the news, can you get your picture in there?
Hell yeah, they can feed it right in if they wanted to.
Oh yeah, we could.
Spying through the TV, right?
They could.
All right. So are you in
Through
the?
my... What's that?
Did you log into the chat?
No, I haven't. Let me.
It would ask you
I
to
can
put
use any.
It'll say enter your nickname to use,
Okay.
and just put.
Let's see if you picked me up. You saw me?
I don't know.
There I am underneath Nick.
What name did you put?
Okay, I'm underneath TRMBS.
Yeah, I see you. Okay.
You see me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it now.
All
you
right.
know what? You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to. This is very nice what you guys have done, and you did help me out. I just hope it's solving the situation. It says the iPhone is in recovery mode. It's waiting for the iPhone. So iTunes is restoring the software on this iPhone.
So
Let's just hope that this.
Just keep us posted in the chat what's going on.
Wonderful. I'm going to get off the line because you probably have other people lined up calling in. But is this only a Sunday show, or what do you have?
this
Weekly,
is
daily?
This is only on Sunday from 9 until noon. We have other shows that we're doing. If you just look there, you'll find out Nissan.
Okay, where are you guys at? Yeah, where are you guys at? I'm in Newburgh, New York.
We are in North Carolina, in Raleigh.
Oh, I'm very familiar with them down there. That's where IBM is.
All right, so let me hang up there.
All right, great. All right, thank you.
Talk to you later.
Let me get off the phone. Bye now.
All right.
Well, I hope that solves this problem. Unfortunately, I don't know that much about the Apple process,
Yeah,
but
no.
It's like Andrew says, that if that doesn't solve his problem, he's probably going to have to go over to the Apple store.
Yeah. No, Andrew, what happened, he said that he got a notice that he had to, that 706, iOS 70 something was available.
7.0.6, which is the update that fixed the HTTPS problem.
Yeah. And whoops.
Anyway, Merle,
Yes, sir.
so tell me about your comment. What Merle is commenting about is in the Podcasting Technology Resources group, I started a thread on Mix Minus. And with regard to setting up for broadcasting. And sure enough, I don't know what's wrong with people. I guess maybe it's me. But I post a thread strictly trying to help people out, trying to offer some suggestions, because people get really spooked when they start talking about Mix Minus for some reason, as if it's a big deal. And the reason I posted is because I was listening to a live broadcast yesterday, and the host on the show, who really ought to know better, said, Yeah, this mix minus thing, I messed with it a little bit. I really don't. I don't think it's necessary. I think we need to worry about other things more than we need to worry about mix minus. I just do other things different ways. I mean, that's kind of like saying, yeah, I mean, I realize that your car requires gasoline, but I'm not a big fan of petroleum products, so I'm really not going to go there. And a guy came, I'm being nice, a guy came along and posted, he posted a chart. He said, here's a simple way to do the same thing. Merle,
Yes, sir.
was the chart he posted the same thing?
No, sir. And I'm fairly new to this whole broadcasting thing. And I ask people like you and Nick and Amnon and Andrew. I mean, I ask all kinds of questions in different chat rooms. And I took a look at this and I've got it up now and I'm like, this definitely is not a mix minus. And again, I'm a kindergartner to this and I understand now what a mix minus is. So, being new, I definitely don't like those services that they were talking about in that blog on Google Plus, because they've never worked for me really well. I mean, they might work, but not as well as, a traditional mix minus using your mixer and an auxiliary port. So yeah, I mean, I brought this up and it took me a minute to figure out what this guy was trying to achieve with this setup. And it's to me, it's kind of ugly.
It works, but you could do the same thing. People can't see it, so we're not going to get too deep into it. But what he's showing is just a way of creating a microphone feed to Skype and also feeding his mixer. He's actually feeding the output of his USB preamp through the headphone jack to the mixer input.
Is this the Podcast 411 article?
It is.
Yeah. Okay, I'll post that in chat. Now, this is stupid. Why would you buy extra equipment to do this?
Well, but I think you made that's a great question, Nick, because in my opinion, he put that together based on the equipment he had on hand. I doubt he went out and bought that equipment. That's my guess.
Okay.
And on that basis, there's nothing wrong with what he has done for the utmost in simplicity. If you already have something and you want to create it, okay, it works. But it's what we call a kludge. It's just throwing some junk together instead of solving the problem.
And I wonder how that headphone output is quality-wise.
That's what I was wondering. Why does he even have the headphone out to a channel on the mixer? That looks kind of confusing to me.
Because how else is it going to get analog output into the mixer? There may be an analog output on that unit. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I'd have to look at it.
The Multimix 8 does have an aux send.
Right. Well, I
know for a fact it does.
I can't answer your question. I mean, this guy should know better. But you know what gets really frustrating?
Mike, I see the problem right here. He's using a MacBook, so there you go.
Oh, okay.
It couldn't possibly be done. It needs to be complicated. Why can't you just plug in the cables the way they're supposed to be plugged in?
Let's see what podcast411.com is. So it's this Podcast 101 tutorial on audio podcasting, and he's got an iPhone there and 2 iPhones. Boy, talk about complicated.
Wait, you know what's weird here, Mike? If you pull back up that article or the PDF, there's no way he could be live streaming.
Right.
He's not sending the mixer back to his computer. Yeah.
Right.
So then why is he even sending USB to his computer? For Skype.
Yeah, for Skype. That's the audio inputs.
You might as well just use the built-in microphone then if it's not being used for recording purposes.
Well, I went back and I'm looking back at his chart now, and he's actually overlooking something. If he were to come out of the main output, and he's coming out of the 2-track output going into the external recorder.
Yeah.
If he were to come out and just out of that same output and go back into the line input on the Mac, he could record the show on the Mac or live stream from the Mac without even using the external recorder. So he's got one more option he could use to achieve the objective, because he is coming out of the M audio by USB. The USB input to the Mac plus the internal sound card would give you the 2 sound cards you need to be able to create a mix minus and broadcast or record from the same computer. His chart's incomplete.
Yeah, this just seems like a really backwards way to accomplish this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I without seeing the back end of the M Audio Mobile Pre-USB, there should be an analog output on the back. If there's an analog output, why is he coming out of the headphone jack?
Let's see, I'm looking at it right now. Let's see what it's got for outputs.
And for you guys who, if you don't know what we're talking about, the link is in chat. It's podcast411.com/mixer.pdf. Podcast411.
It does. It has line outputs.
/mixer.pdf. All right, so if it has line outputs, why would you not come out of that line input and go into the mixer? If that's what you...
I don't know. This guy clearly doesn't know what he's doing then.
Well, you see who he is. I don't want to call his name on the air, but you see who he is.
Well, it's nothing against the guy, but I mean, that's not a way to... I can't imagine that headphone output jack is the highest quality jack in the world.
It's not, but no podcaster over the air will be able to hear the difference.
Yeah, this seems like a very seems like a lot more could go wrong.
But here's my point about bringing this up. I posted this in there because a lot of people are confused and intimidated by Mix Minus. And it's like Merle says, that once you get it, it's easy. It's logical. It makes sense. It's not that complicated. Like brain surgery. Once you got it, right?
Yep.
And I put this information in there trying to help people. And then somebody like this guy who has some credibility in the community comes along and posts something that, as far as I am concerned, is distracting and confusing. And it sort of negates the entire purpose of what I was trying to do. So why bother?
Because they want to.
Mike,
why should I waste my time?
You need to make a video on this, Mike.
I need to do a lot of things, and I've thought several times about doing that. If I had a video camera, I would. I've got the GoPro, but you guys keep telling me it's going to be fisheye and not useful, so I don't know. We'll see.
What?
I could always
try it, Mike.
Probably
try
do
it
something as well.
I will try it when I get some time. I haven't been in the mood lately. But anyway,
I mean, it's really not that. Like, I originally thought it was extremely complicated, but it's really not. And if I can figure it out, somebody else should be able to figure it out.
Can the lens on the GoPro be exchanged?
Really?
Whoops.
Well, what I heard was, and I don't know anything about it, but I heard when the GoPro Hero 3 first came out, people complained that it had a fisheye lens. Next thing I heard is, quote unquote, they solved that.
Well, I don't know how you solve the lens looking fisheye.
I don't either, unless you change the lens.
Well, maybe they did it, but I'm not sure.
But anyway, I'll look into it. Thanks, Merle.
Bye, Merle.
Nick, I've got a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
How did you sleep last night?
Horrible.
Oh, come on.
Why?
No, I did.
He's beginning to sound like an old man.
Why you asked me a question?
Yeah,
I give you the answer, and now I'm horrible.
Horrible.
I did sleep horrible. Why would you ask that? You knew the answer.
I know. Well, no, I didn't know the answer. I was hoping you're going to say good.
No.
So why didn't you sleep well?
It's starting to get warmer, and allergies are starting to kick up, and can't breathe, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, breathing is not important.
No, not just like audio. Very similar things. Take it or leave it.
Mm-hmm. Before you guys came online, Andrew and Nick, we were talking about why aren't we doing live Roku? And I was telling Mike the thing about that server, but I don't remember what type of format is it looking for?
HLS. M3,
HLS.
M3U8.
Yeah. And Andrew is still using the link from Ustream that is kind of...
I don't even know if Andrew's works anymore.
Oh. Andrew?
I don't even think he knows if it works.
And TRMBS is now saying, I see hello on my iPhone screen.
I'll be right back.
There is Nick and there is Mike on the show right now. Andrew, you still here? Mr. Zarian.
He's sneaking out.
He's probably having breakfast. Listen to this story. Microsoft is exploring whether to release a free version of Windows to increase the number of computers using the latest operating system. Currently, the company seems to be testing a new version of the OS called Windows 8.1 with Bing, which will include Microsoft's key modern apps and services. So they are thinking about putting out, I'm sure it's going to be a limited OS, but a free one.
Well,
I
how
don't
would
know.
that work? Because Apple is a hardware company. Microsoft is a software company. Apple gave away their software. And how can Microsoft give away their software? If they're going to do that, then they're reading some tea leaves that don't look good to them.
That are old, stale. Nick, did you hear about that?
I just got back. I'm sorry.
That Microsoft is exploring whether to release a free version of Windows to increase the number of computers using the latest operating system.
It's a good idea.
Why is it a good idea for them?
I don't know. So people will upgrade.
Well, it's not a matter of upgrade. It's a matter of, I'm sure anybody who's going to upgrade can afford the... How much is Windows 8?
I don't know. Nobody buys Windows.
I think that they want to increase the number of computers.
I have never bought Windows to upgrade it.
Yeah, it's always...
Always a new computer.
Yep.
Or I bought it separately and installed it.
But it's interesting that Microsoft be giving away, like Mike says, their operating system.
People still won't upgrade.
No.
Tony posted this in chat, and I'm not sure I understand it, Nick. Explain this to me. It says the reason the GoPro videos have a slight fisheye effect is due to the wide-angle lens on the camera. It's actually called a barrel distortion, which is a result of having the 170-degree lens. This curved barrel distortion allows for the 170-degree ultra-wide angle shots that GoPro is known for. You can slightly reduce this effect on the HD Hero original camera, which I have the 3, by quote-unquote filming in 1080p 30 frames per second mode, which brings the field of view down to 127 degrees. With the HD Hero 2 camera, you also have the option at 1080p to switch to a medium 127 degrees or a narrow 90 degrees field of view.
Well, the whole reason that they're fisheye because they're meant to strap on a helmet while you're snowboarding and you want to get that wide angle. I mean, people are buying these and then using them to film stuff at their house, and that's not what the use is. I mean, that's not the use case for these devices.
But it sounds like you can compensate. It sounds like, and I'm not reading
a
this
little, a little bit. You can compensate.
Sounds like
a
you
little
can
bit.
compensate.
Yeah, but not fully. You're most likely still going to have that fisheye look. And you
Well, it says it's a. Go ahead.
I can like if I was watching a video on YouTube, I could tell when somebody was using a GoPro. It's very obvious. If you look at two videos side by side, I mean, you see it right at the edge of the video. You see this curviness.
Yeah.
Isn't there a GoPro 3 also?
I got the latest one that they were selling at Christmas.
Yeah, it's 3. And they are not even mentioning it there. I wonder why. Is that because it's not that...
Well, this could be an old article.
Yeah. Do you remember reading anything in your documentation what What's the lens on yours?
I haven't even taken it out of the package.
Oh,
I mean, I originally got it and I thought about taking it back and getting something more conventional to be able to do some videos, because there are several things that I would like to do videos on. I've been talking about doing them for 2 years now, I guess.
what is quote unquote conventional?
It would be something like one of the Vixia cameras. It's a 1080p HD camera with an SD card. A camcorder.
Oh, a camcorder.
Yeah. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that there's probably some really neat things I can do with this Hero.
Oh yeah, we
I'll
do
bet.
some cool stuff at school with them. Like we're, for example, the broadcast team, we're doing this like mini documentary on the wood shop or whatever. And we'll just throw the GoPro on a piece of wood and cut it in half with not cut the GoPro in half, but cut the piece of wood in half with like the table saw or whatever, and you get a really cool, like right up to the blade look. I mean, there's definitely cool things you can do with it, but if you're shooting, an unboxing or something, it's probably not the best thing to use.
Yeah, well, it's
You're probably better off using your phone's camera.
Tony says there seem to be a number of companies that will replace the lens on the Hero for a flat lens for $450.
Woohoo!
Pass
Fine
on that.
camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Vance was going to sell me one of his cameras, but he had decided to hold on to it.
Well, you can take a C920 and put it and strap it to your forehead.
Right.
No, seriously.
You're
not?
joking, right?
What?
You're joking, right?
No.
With duct tape.
Why would I be joking?
Why would you strap a webcam to your head? Webcams don't produce that quality good
Well,
video.
Mike likes it.
Yeah, but hey, man, if Mike was going to record something serious, he's not going to use a webcam for it.
No, I don't know. I mean, he's putting himself into one.
Serious.
Yeah, that's it. To your nose, Mike, to your nose. Doesn't it have a clip?
Nah.
Yeah, Amnon, I mean, you've looked at the webcam videos; they're not that high quality.
I'd have to
They're
get
not. They're not. But
duct
it's
tape.
it is HD. So are you saying it's not really HD? It's just 16:9?
No, I'm not saying it's not HD. I'm saying it's HD, but the sensor on that side, those things are junk.
Oh,
They look good
see.
for internet broadcast, but I wouldn't record a video with it or something serious. I
A
mean,
lot
yeah,
of
if you
people
wanna-
do.
No, I know a lot of people do, and I did it at 1.2, and then you realize they suck.
So what camera are you using to record video?
I don't record videos anymore because I don't have anything to do it. I mean, I have a DSLR if I wanted to, but I don't record videos because it's not worth it.
Y'all have a
They don't-
DSLR?
What?
Y'all have one?
Yeah, I have one.
What do you have?
T3,
I don't know what that is.
Canon T3.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's like the cheapest one they sell. It's still like $800 though.
And even these $800 ones, they seem to work well.
Oh, that's
Some of
not
the
true. Actually, I did-
$300 ones.
Here, I did record something with my DSLR. Here, let me upload it to YouTube quickly. Look at the quality of that.
I like to watch a lot of woodworking videos. These guys, to a person, are using DSLRs. One of the guys
Yeah.
is using one that's like $4,000. The guy who's doing the stop action.
Well, they're cheap. And they can be used for multiple things.
Not the $4,000 ones.
Yeah. And I wonder, is this because of what it's the innards of it, or is it because of the lenses on it?
Who
Because
knows?
lenses
I mean,
are not cheap.
Yeah, I mean, you can spend a fortune on lenses for
Yeah.
sure.
I'll upload this and send it to you, Mike.
Okay.
Mike, you just need to take it out, strap it to you, do a short video, 5 minutes, and see what it looks like.
Well, but if I don't take it out of the package, I might return it.
The one thing that does suck about the DSLRs is the microphone is horrendous on it.
Audio is not important.
Yeah, audio is irrelevant.
But I believe it does have a headphone jack, which I've yet to mess around with, or a microphone jack.
But you can sync it externally anyway, as long as you use the same bit rate.
That's what I did actually. I recorded it. I talked on the vid. I talked during while I recorded it. The quality was really bad, so I just talked over myself and then deleted the audio.
Right, but what I would do is whenever I was, because what I did, I had to shoot some video at my office, and the only thing we had to shoot it with at the time, believe it or not, remember these? Flip camera.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's great. These did great.
Well, they don't. The problem is
The what?
Go ahead.
the audio is like Nick is saying, the audio on them is terrible.
Yeah.
But what we did was, I have an external digital recorder,
Right.
which is a Sony PCM M10. What I did was found out that this camera actually records audio at 44.1K. I set this to 44.1K, fed it with a Sennheiser wireless microphone, lapel mic. Then after I was done, I took the audio file from here, synced it with the video file from here, and you could not tell that was done. It looked like it was recorded that way.
No.
I've always had issues trying to sync that though. Every time I have issues. trying to
Never
sync
had an issue. I mean, you know how much more you know about this stuff than I do. And for me not to have had an issue, you must not be doing something right.
Well, no, but I'm just not good with. I'm not good with the. Well, yeah. Well, what were you using to sync it?
All you have to do is load it into, what's the name of the program? I've used Windows Movie Maker. I've also used this. Let me see what the program is that I use. I mean, all you have to do is find the starting point and let it roll. I mean, it's microsecond accurate.
Yeah, it's just it takes a little more time, I guess.
It's kind of like anything else. You do it for the first time, and after that, you've nailed it.
Yeah, I tend to stay away from it now. When I can, if I have to do it, I will. And I did that on the video I'm uploading right now, but it was just kind of a pain.
What's the name of that stupid program that I use? It's a biggie. It's not expensive, but it's pretty powerful. In fact, let's see. Maybe it's not on this computer anymore.
Well, going forward.
Oh, Vegas Movie Studio.
Oh, yeah. I've used Vegas Movie Studio.
And what about it?
No, nothing. I've used it before.
No, I mean, why did Mike, why did you mention it?
Because I asked him.
He was asking how I was syncing the audio to the video.
Yeah.
With an editor like that, when you bring up the audio and the video, once you figure out where you are in the video, you can almost see that spot in the audio. You slide the audio around to sync it up. Once you get close, you can nail it.
Yeah, or you could do the clap.
Yeah.
Whenever I've done it, I've just done the clap.
And what he's saying is that whenever you're getting ready to shoot the video, you have the person on camera clap.
Yeah. Then there's the peak in the audio, and you time the frame perfectly.
See the audio frame, you can see them clapping, and then you get those together, and then you can go in and adjust them.
What happened to your audio?
Whose audio?
No, Mike's.
Oh, he stepped away from the microphone, or he moved back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Beware of your teens and Facebook, right? BBC reports that when Dana Snay learned her father had been awarded an $80,000 cash settlement in an age discrimination lawsuit against his former employer, she couldn't resist bragging about it on Facebook. Mama and Papa Snay won the case against Gulliver, the teen posted to her 1,200 Facebook friends. Gulliver is now officially paying for my vacation to Europe this summer. Suck it! Trouble was, her father had signed a confidentiality agreement, so the school refused to pay a dime and a Florida appeals court has found in the school's favor. Snee violated the agreement by doing exactly what he had promised not to do, wrote Judge Linda Ann Wells. His daughter then did precisely what the confidentiality agreement was designed to prevent. Snee's father said in depositions that he and his wife knew they had to say something to their daughter because she suffered psychological scars from issues during her enrollment at the school and was aware that they were in mediation with Gulliver attorneys. Attorneys say it's unlikely confiding in Dana Snee would have jeopardized the settlement. It was the Facebook post that did them. Remember, when all you had to worry about was your daughter's posting naked selfies on herself on Facebook? Now things are worse. And you know, you gotta side with the school there. I mean, Mike, you're an attorney. It's true. This is what
I mean, my response is, what's the question? They made
No,
an
there was no
agreement.
question.
He breached the agreement, right?
Yeah, that's the
But
thing.
now they're
It was-
trying to say that like they had to tell the girl, and
Yeah.
they couldn't control her, something like
They're
that.
going to just try to justify their actions. Of course they are. But here,
They won't win.
I guess without reading the entire story, my first question is, let me go back and pick up a little bit of information here, Amnon.
Yeah.
The suit was against whom?
The father, the parents sued the school, her school.
Is it a private or a public school?
I would think that it's a private because it doesn't mention any state or any. It's Gulliver.
All right. But my question is...
Wait. You know what? No, that's not true. Because it says the settlement in an age discrimination lawsuit against his former employer. The father was working at the school, apparently.
Okay. My question is, why should that have been maintained confidentially? Why was that information necessary to keep it?
I wonder if they did it to other people and wanted to keep it quiet.
Well, I mean, the reason I say that is I actually have read some things recently about confidentiality agreements. And one of the admonishments of some of the lawyers who deal with those sorts of things is be careful what you agree to keep confidential. Just because the parties agree to it, that doesn't mean that it is the right thing to do with regard to government or other public entities. Maybe the school has no right to make that requirement that you maintain it in confidence.
Well, this was a cash settlement, so it's not that the court decided that they need to pay him. It was like, okay, I'll settle with you. Here's $80,000. Keep your mouth shut.
I understand, but if it is a public school, the question is whether they have the right to make that demand.
I see.
We don't have enough information
we
to have
don't.
a clue on that one.
But the point here was that she goes on Facebook and brags about it, and
so they lost, what, $80,000?
yep.
Well.
That's
There you go.
that's not chicken scratch.
That's Amnon kind of money there.
Yeah.
80,000, that's nothing.
That's nothing. I'm watching your video here, Nick, and
Yes.
the video quality is good. The focus on that camera is terrible.
Yes, I'm aware of the focus issue. I did a manual focus instead of autofocus. If I was to
then
do
your ability
autofocus,
to focus is terrible.
well, I was trying to hold up the watch as well, Mike, and you need two hands to focus.
Yeah, whine.
The only reason I didn't do an autofocus is because it would have been focusing on other parts of the watch. Like the only part I really focused on was the front glass. I didn't want it focusing on anything else.
Yeah. But, I mean, the quality's good.
Quality's okay. I mean,
For YouTube.
yeah, for what it is, it's fine.
Mike, you have a Keurig, don't you?
I do not.
Oh, who does?
I do.
Nick's going to love this story.
You know what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Apparently seeking to lock competitors out of the burgeoning single-serve coffee market, Green Mountain Coffee Roasters maker of the popular Keurig coffee machines, will make their new machines work with licensed pods only. GMCR's CEO confirmed this in a statement. The much-anticipated Keurig 2.0 single-cup brewing system with interactive readability that doesn't work with unlicensed copycat pods will offer such game-changing functionality that consumers and unlicensed players will want to switch. So, right, they're going to have an ID on each K-Cup.
A chip.
A chip. That goes up in price. And at that point, I mean, there are other machines that use the same style cups out there. It's not just Keurig.
They're not the only thing.
Yeah. So I don't know what they are expecting to gain here. Unless they're going to go afterwards after all these other companies that use the same that can use those cups and say, "Nah, you can't do that." I don't know.
I blasted them on Twitter again. That's just kind of a thing I do when I have an opportunity.
Yeah.
Their customer service supervisor contacted me wanting to know what it would take to make me happy. And I told him I doubt she could, but she said, "Give me the serial number of the unit." Well, guess what?
Go ahead.
We can't find it.
You can find the serial number or can find the unit?
Can't find the unit.
Did you look on the kitchen counter?
Who
did you buy it from?
Probably Bed Bath & Beyond, probably. I don't know.
So-
I've purchased a total of either 4 or 5 of them, including the ones I've given away.
So they sold you the product and they couldn't find your model number. Or
No,
your
it's
serial number.
I mean, I can't find. She wants to know what my serial number is, and I said, "No, I'm not going to go." It's in our storage room, but we had to move some stuff around because of kids moving in and out and that sort of thing. So the section where it is kind of piled high. But she said, "Give me the serial number." And I said, "Well, I'm not going to waste my time. It's been over a year." She said, "Just go get me the serial number." And so it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I don't have a whole lot of hope for them, and even
They're
if
going to give you a new one or one at a discounted price.
If they do, then it lasts a year, and I throw it in the trash can.
If they do, I
again.
tell them. Yeah, if they do it, tell them you don't want it.
You know,
Then you're just going to end up dealing with that. No, those things
I'm
are
sort of
good.
that's where I am now. I mean, it would take the opportunity for me to complain online away, and I enjoy doing that.
There you go.
Now, to talk about that Keurig is the way that I use it these days, and I talked about it last week, is reusing those cups. I wonder if they're going to stop, if it's going to be a one-time cup usage. If you put it the second time, it's going to say, sorry, you already used that one.
Yeah, but here's the thing: people are just going to stop buying the Keurig then.
Right.
Switch brands.
Absolutely.
I mean, those things are already expensive. Those
Yeah.
cups are not cheap to start, and now if they're going to have some types of chips in them,
Yeah.
no, nobody's going to buy them.
Well, don't say nobody, because there are a lot of people who are invested in the Keurig brand way back whenever photocopiers first came out. The only thing you would buy would be a Xerox. In fact, you couldn't even buy one. You had to lease them. They wouldn't sell you one. I mean, that seems silly in 2014, but they were invested in that brand. People said, you want a copier, you got to buy a Xerox.
And why?
That's generic.
Why do you really think that people are going to buy it as fast as they do today? Why? Because what do you mean they have invested?
Well, this is an interesting comment. Because there's so many people who love the Keurig. They don't all fail. I mean, 3 or 4% probably work well for a long time.
I've had mine for 2 years now, and it's been fine. But then
And
again,
so why should Nick complain about it? His is working. That's not the issue.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, it's like saying only 30,000 people a year get Lou Gehrig's disease. That's not a big number. Well, it's a hell of a big number for 30,000 people.
Right.
So that being said, when it comes to these, some things are changing now in society that we old guys are observing. Nick, it's can't see it because he's in the middle of it, but we're seeing things change, and what I think it's for the better. a lot of things that are changing are not for the better, and I'd be glad to throw this out for comment. But what we're seeing, and I think it really started with copper-based telephone service, and that is that people are starting, particularly with technology, on an increasing basis to vote with their feet. And that is that the home telephone got so expensive, people said, to heck with that, and they started using just their cell phones.
Right.
Now, they didn't save money, but considering they were going to have a cell phone anyway, they saved money by having a cell phone, but no additional home telephone service. The very same thing is occurring with cable television. Cable television is pricing itself out of the market. And that's to the point that people are using the the Netflix and Hulu's and other things to cut the cable.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that's suggesting to me is that whenever, and look at what happened, people with inkjet printers that had cartridges in them, they found ways to do it, chip foolers and other sorts of way of refilling it with the same chip, whatever,
Right.
avoiding printers that had the cartridges in them that you had to use the name brand cartridge. I think people are more and more voting with their feet. They don't have to be held hostage by these companies who just want to extract money from their wallets.
Right. Yeah. And that's why, I think this is why Nick was saying that people will stop buying the Keurig, because, like I said, there are other manufacturers that make single serve cups that are probably cheaper. I didn't look yet. I mean, but when this one breaks down, we won't buy another Keurig. I think the K-Cup became a standard, so others are using the same thing. And the companies that are putting out those pods, those K-Cups, are going to keep on producing. I think the only loser is going to be Keurig.
Well, we'll see. They'll make it for a while.
Of course.
Dr. John is saying, cut the chip out and glue it to the sensor.
Right. But the problem is that it doesn't work, and he knows better. I mean, he knows this stuff. But what happens is the coffee pot is smart enough to know that K-Cup with that sensor, with that RFID or whatever it uses, has already been used, and it will not use it again.
Anything like that added to a complex machine is just another point that something will break.
And on a Keurig, it will break, in my opinion.
And then it'll stop making coffee altogether.
Well, at least, anyway.
I mean, it could be. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. If somebody else came up and if your prices are higher than others on the K-Cups and that's why people are buying the others, then get with the program.
What I have heard for people who still use the Keurigs is that the least expensive places to buy quality K-Cups or quality aftermarket cups are Costco and BJ's.
Yep, absolutely.
But I don't have one that works, so it doesn't matter. We have one at the office. What I hate about it is, for some reason, the people in our office, we're drinking about, if I had to make a guess, it was 60-40 tea to coffee. The idea with a K-Cup is that each person has their own blend or brew or style, but I got to tell you, after tea goes through that, I'm sick of drinking tea-flavored coffee. It really does not clean itself out well between
tea.
Well, you have to clean it out between things.
Well, then that sort of defeats the purpose.
Well, I mean, not every time, but yeah, no. I mean, you're supposed to just run water through it.
It does not clean it out. It just doesn't.
Well, I wonder if yours is just so beyond the point now that it's just like.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I've started doing is I've started grabbing one of the dark coffee cups that has already run through it, that's already been used, and throw it in there and run it through again and dump that cup out, because the coffee washes it out better than just plain water washes it out. But sometimes you can still taste the tea, and then other people will come in there and put a hazelnut in there, and then other people will do hot chocolate.
So here you go, Mike. a usage for your old machines. Take out the unit that goes into the mouth, that the K-cup goes in. Have your own. When you go there, take the piece out, put your in there, put your cup, put your tea or whatever you want. And when you're done, take the whole thing out, put the original one in.
Apparently, you're supposed to do a vinegar soak with it.
Yeah.
Right, but you're not going to do that after every cup. But what I'm saying is that this version, this commercial version we have,
yeah.
Are you sitting down? $1,000.
Yeah, they're expensive.
$1,000. This is a $1,000 model. It's hooked directly to the water line. And in my opinion, the mechanism does not self-clean sufficiently, and that is, I even went in there one day, got really tired of messing with it. I went in and said, there's got to be a way to disassemble this basket that Amnon's talking about and clean it out.
Absolutely.
And I could not find a way to disassemble it and to clean it. I actually will take a paper towel, wet the paper towel, stick it up inside the nozzle inside, and remove some of the nastiest looking gunk from under there you could imagine.
Yeah, if you take a paper towel and just go under there, it's ridiculous. And if you touch a cup to that bottom, and we don't use it much, I can imagine in the office. I mean, we use, 4 or 5 cups a day between Kathy and me?
Oh,
and maybe Uzi will come sometimes. It's
100 or 200.
Yeah. Let's see, who just called in? Hello?
I did.
Yeah?
I want to thank you very much for helping me with my iPhone.
Oh,
I
you came
really
in on Skype
appreciate. Who is that, Mike or Amnon?
This is Amnon.
Okay, you did a great job on doing that. It worked out perfect. Now I know that little secret about the iPhone there. You probably know some more secrets too, or Nick does, either one.
Well, Nick knows all the secrets. He's the keeper of the secrets.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, usually the younger folks are with those iPhones. I don't know what it is, but iPhone 6 is supposed to be coming out right in June sometime. But I'm not going to buy one. I'm throwing the iPhone out, man. I might just give this away to a poor guy on the street and let him sell it for his drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Get out of here. Now you're going to hurt Nick's feelings. Nick is a major Apple fanboy, and he's not going to like hearing you say that.
Shut up.
Okay. Nick, I got some news for you about the iPhone or Apple. I would take your stock, if you have any stock in it, and sell it now before it starts going down by the end of the year.
I own 20%. I own 20% of the company.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay, well, that's the latest word I got about that.
Well, did you hear what? Right. Speaking, you bring up an interesting point. Did you hear what Tim Cook just said? There was a company, an industrial investor in Apple. This guy, right-wing extremist kook, I'm sure they want to label him as, went to the shareholders meeting and did a motion that Apple would get off of some of these environmental extremist positions that they are taking, and they even hired the former head of the Obama EPA to manage the sustainability effort at Apple. This guy made a motion that they stop wasting money on these useless environmental wacko things that they are doing, because it devalues the stock by having these resources committed to useless things. And Tim Cook, under no uncertain terms, said that they absolutely were not going to stop doing it, that if you are in denial for global warming and climate change, then the best thing for you to do is for you to dump your Apple stock.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You know something, Nick? Or Amnon or Nick? Mike? Apple, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Apple, talks Chinese. He was having a conversation with a Chinese person that works for the company that makes the iPhones for Apple. And last November, 300,000 Chinese took their iPhones to Red Square and threw them into the ground and stepped on them and mashed them because of the cruel way that company was treating them, forcing them to live in unsanitary conditions above the factory. So they were sort of like on the second floor, and they were lowering the wages. And they said if they do that, they'll never make another iPhone again.
Yeah, but that's every company. That's not just Apple.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, really?
That's unfair
Can you
to
imagine
say
that?
just Apple.
300,000 people throwing their iPhones into the
Well,
ground.
and then let me ask you a question, though, in Apple's defense. What if Apple said, okay, guys, you got a point. You don't like us. We don't like you. We're going to leave and go to Malaysia.
Well,
They'd all cry for them to stay.
They'd be standing out in Tiananmen Square crying to high heaven, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
of
you
course.
got that right. You got that right. But the latest word I got was Apple may go. They
Well,
may
time
no
will
longer
tell.
be in the picture. Yeah, time will tell. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. My phone that was updated here. I'm calling from it, and it's working great.
Glad you got it going.
Thank you very much. I like your show. I'll
Great.
continue
Take care.
listening. Thank you. Bye now.
Take care. Yeah, Gene, you just need to try the different providers down there, either Vaughn or Daily Motion or Justin. And I'm wondering if I'm doing Justin right now. I'll check in a second.
Bamboozer's fine.
Well, he
He's
was
having a
saying that
problem
he
with
was
Bamboozler.
having problems with buffering.
You're live on Justin.
Okay. Yeah, he's saying that Vaughn is good for him now. This is kind of disturbing. Yeah, the decline of Radio Shack has been painful to watch, and now CNN Money reports that they will be closing 1,100 of their stores, totaling 20% of their brick and mortar presence. Radio Shack has also publicly admitted its current stores are out of date and in need of massive overhaul. But the number one culprit has been a continuous slide in sales down a steep slope in the area of mobile device sales. A few years ago, in a bid to expand a customer base, Radio Shack made a bid to return to its root as a hobbyist electronic component retailer. Apparently, the extra traffic hasn't been enough to make up for their failings. The article mentions that some of their stiffest competition is coming from online retailers. The big question is, in order to ensure their survival, would Radio Shack be better off continuing to phase out their brick and mortar presence while making substantial efforts to expand as an exclusively online retailer? I don't know that they can do. I mean, you know, I guess people don't go anymore. But if you need something now, where do you go? You go to Radio Shack. There is no other place to go to. And
Right. But part of the problem is that when you get there, they don't have it.
Or
Yeah,
if
that's
they
the
have it,
thing.
it's extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And you can.
That's
you can
why I
get
think they're
$1 Amazon. You can get one day Amazon shipping for $3.99.
Yeah,
Why
but-
would you
but
pay
again-
$5 more at?
But again,
Radio
that's
Shack.
one day shipping.
Yeah.
That's some things you can't wait, especially if you're a professional.
Yeah, but yeah. What if they don't have it though? I mean,
I know.
you're-
No, I'm not justifying. I'm not saying that they're good. They're not good, and yes, they are expensive. But when
I've needed things on the fly and had to have bought it at Radio Shack. But I mean, there's no way they can compete. I mean, they have to keep store shelves
Right. Yeah.
stocked and pay employees to sit there and do nothing because nobody's going into their stores.
yeah, no, absolutely, you're right.
Well, here's my question. When I saw that story, I wondered too. And by the way, my family used to own a Radio Shack store. I got a lot of inside knowledge on how they operate. But what my question is, the criticism is that they focused on where the money was, which was smartphones. That's where they thought they were going to make their money. They wanted to become a phone store to the point that they neglected their other lines of business. And now the smartphone market is not what it used to be, and it's caught them off guard. Do you think that's accurate?
Well, that's what some of them are saying.
Is that your personal experience? I mean, Amnon, you've got a Radio Shack right there in your,
yeah, I know. And
in your front door, and it's probably one that's going to get it closed.
Yeah.
Because there's never anybody in there.
In the last few years, you go in there, and you don't see what you used to see in Radio Shack. All the little drawers. Well, this is now way in the back somewhere, and it's not that many of them. And that's where they started. And they're neglected it. I agree. They're absolutely neglected.
Right. Tim was saying that they're good for a cable if you need it fast. I got to tell you, whenever I hear people like Steven say, I went out to Radio Shack to get a cable, I shudder.
Yeah. No, that's not true. There are other places in town that have cables for a lot cheaper and fresher.
And these Radio Shack cables, it's a generalized comment, but they make them out of the crappiest metal that you can possibly buy. Now, they have improved a little bit and since some of the ones that I saw probably 2 or 3 years ago. But as a general rule, you better know what you're getting and make sure that any connector that you buy is nickel plated and not tin.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I don't know, Tim. Maybe you don't have. Yeah, you do have. Even over there, you have. What do you call it? What's the name of this?
No, Tim. I mean, Tim says I was being sarcastic, but the reality is, if you need a cable and they have it, you get what you have to get you by. Been there, done that. That's where Radio Shack's forte. That's what their forte is, and what they're saying is that there's not enough of that going on now that they can survive off of that. I mean, I make my own cables as well, and in fact, I don't know why I did it, but there's a particular config. You talk about making videos, Nick. There's a particular configuration that's best used for a computer to use a mix minus with a computer and Skype and so forth. And it actually, to do it the absolute best way, requires a custom cable. HOSA makes some pre-molded cables that can be modified to do what needs to be done. I bought about $100 worth of them. They've been sitting over here for about 6 months, and I don't know why I wasted my time, but I did. But if you needed that cable at Radio Shack, you would have to go over and start buying a bunch of adapters and cables. You'd end up spending $20 for something I can do for about $4.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is, there are other places also that sell cables these days. I mean, if somebody needs, you go to any of the office supply stores, Office Depot, Staples, they have all your basic cables. If you're lucky enough to have a Tiger Direct, they have cables at the wazoo.
But I also recommend that, and this kind of blows my mind a little bit, but I will see people who go on Amazon, for example, and order exactly the right number of cables they need. Invariably, the order comes in and they forgot one.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Well, look, if you're going to stick into this technology side of things, and I don't believe in going crazy about it, but if you need 5 cables, order 6, order 7.
Yep.
It's better that you waste a cable or 2 or have a spare than it is for you to have exactly the number you need and make sure you nail it every time. I mean, I've got enough cables I could wire everybody in this chat room probably, but which is a little overkill, but I've been doing it a long time too.
The first time Mike came over to the studio to help me with the mixer, he came with 2 bags. And those 2 bags were full with all type of plugs and adapters and cables and whatever. I mean, I don't think there was anything missing there. It was amazing. If you needed it, he had it.
Well,
so that and now, if you come over here and look at that chest of drawers that I have against the wall, it's full of all kind of those cables that I use. And I've got quite a few extra ones.
And it's
'Cause-
not that expensive.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. But it's just like when you think about it, you buy let's say you buy 2 extra cables and you spend $10 on the 2 extra cables. It's like,
$10 is nothing.
yeah, of course.
Well,
but
it depends to who, Mike. But
That's an inside joke.
yeah, but the point is that you will be saving a lot by having. Sooner or later, you'll need it, or somebody else will
of
need
course.
that cable. It's if you had to go and get those 2 cables again from Radio Shack, you'll pay a whole lot more than those $10 for one.
yeah,
So yeah, they need to update their stuff. They need to get with the program. You want to compete?
I don't see how Radio Shack is going to survive unless they go through some major changes. Now, look, Radio Shack is a smart company. I think one of the smartest things they have done in years gone by. It really frustrated a lot of their customers, so I'm not so sure they did it the best way. But what they would do every quarter, they might have, I don't know, 10,000 items in their catalog. That may be high, I don't know. But what they would do is every quarter they would run a sort on the sales of each of the items from their catalog. They would automatically discontinue anything in the bottom 10%. They did have the ability to do a manual override. It wasn't as blatant as it sounds, because there might be some items that they considered essential to carry, a replacement part or something that really was not a big seller. But as a general rule, they would clear out the bottom 10% of their inventory because they only wanted to keep faster moving inventory. And so they were able to stay viable and to clear things out. I imagine most companies do that now. But the problem that they overlooked is that as a specialty store, sometimes what you go in for is not the fastest selling item. It might be something that they've had on the inventory for a while, but they're interested in the fast turn, the fast buck. That's what's hurt them. That's what's caused them to, I think, leave their base and go after the quick buck.
yeah.
Here's another interesting story. Dell, and this is coming from England, different UK. Dell is charging customers £16, which is $27, to install Firefox on a newly purchased computer.
How much?
$27.
Holy crap!
We contacted Mozilla to find out more, the article goes. The company told us it is investigating the issue and denied it had any such a deal in place. There is no agreement between Dell and Mozilla which allows Dell or anyone else to charge for installing Firefox using that brand name. Mozilla's Vice President and General Counsel Danelle Dixon told TNW, "Our trademark policy makes clear that this is not permitted, and we are investigating this specific report." Dell has responded in saying that this practice is okay because the company is charging for the service and not the product.
Yeah, that does make sense. I mean, they're charging you to install it.
That is just amazing. That's, I don't know. Again, if you think outside the box, there may be people that don't know how to install it, how to download it and install it, and they need that type of service.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
$27 to install Firefox.
I know it's ridiculous for
And
something.
what-
It's
And
not
so-
though, really. That's not
Well,
really
wait.
ridiculous at all.
All right, how long does it take to install it?
Well, it might only take 5 minutes, but let's say that their thing is we charge you for half an hour minimum or an hour minimum of work, then $27 is not a lot at all.
Yeah, but I don't buy that.
No, I don't buy it either.
For labor,
It's
labor.
total BS. But if the minimum is all right, the minimum we do is half an hour worth of labor. So even if it takes 10 seconds, it's still under half an hour. Then it's
Right.
It's not
But
ridiculous.
if you don't know how to install Firefox, you probably don't need a computer.
Yeah, no, that's probably pretty accurate.
Because you're going to have a lot more challenging things to handle than installing Firefox.
I was reading an article also that that stated that the Firefox OS or Mozilla OS,
I've never heard of an OS.
is going to be the preferred OS on smartphones in the next year.
Well, that's not going to happen.
I
so.
don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying an article.
Who wrote that article?
I don't.
That sounds like something you read on CBS.
Yeah, that they are. Whoever wrote that article is an uncredible source.
I didn't print it out.
Oh my god.
Good morning, Steve.
I can hear you saying good morning, Steve. Good morning, everybody. But you're like so far in the back of the box. You're not even on one. You're on like 100th of one.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, very funny, Mike. I did hear that. I'm just trying to figure out why I'm on the.
It might be Amnon.
It's on Xanax. It's not muted.
Oh,
What's going on?
can you hear me? I mean,
Let's give that one a little twist.
It
Try
was-
again, please.
Test 1 2. Hello world. Test 1 2.
No, it's definitely something not coming back right here.
really?
Tools, options, audio settings.
Computers, eh? I ought to call in one of those computer call-in shows and see if they can help.
Yeah, they're not much use.
I
Wait
can
a
see
second.
people's mouths moving, but nothing else is happening, so I don't know. Carry on without me for a moment, please, if you don't mind.
Mike, I did
Yes.
not do anything here.
It did it by itself?
On purpose, but the Oxend 1 on everything is at 9 o'clock, except the phone,
You're coming
2K
You're coming
voice,
in fine on the stream with
and
the video.
talk show.
Well, then turn it up. Turn it up, then, Amnon. See what it
Let's
does.
see.
Well, but
One,
what
two.
you should be doing, though,
How
before you
about-
start twisting knobs,
No,
because those things were set based on several things, before you start twisting knobs, go into Sky on Computers 2K Voice, go into Tools, Options, Audio Settings, watch the VU meter to see what the actual feed level to Skype is.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
all
way you monitor it without guessing.
It's all the way up. Well,
What's
why
up?
is it?
Well,
There's no audio coming in on Skype.
Wait a
Well,
second.
there is, but it's
Wait a
nominal, if
second.
you can
Wait a
call it audio
second.
even.
Steve, is my volume coming back to you as low as Amnon's?
I don't know what's going on here, but the microphone is not even budging on audio settings.
On 2K Voice?
On 2K Voice, it's
Some
there's
of,
nothing.
some of the drivers,
Nothing.
some of the drivers disable it, I think.
Two USB, two.
But
I
where's
mean,
the meter jumping? Whenever you talk or I talk, where is his input microphone meter? Where is it jumping?
his is jumping great, but that's the speaker. On the microphone, I don't care if it's you talking or me talking, it's not moving at all, but it's all the way to the right.
Well, maybe you hit something on your mixer.
Yeah,
You
but
may have to reboot that computer.
I just booted it this morning. Steve, you still hear us, right? Now I can't hear him.
Well, no, only if
Oh.
I can only hear you from the web stream.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, we were
I
talking
just tested
earlier
it on
with
through the mixer.
we were talking with Merle. We were talking with
Yeah.
But if your input,
I
if your
don't know.
microphone
I
meter is not jumping on 2K Voice, he's not going to hear you.
yeah, I know. I'm that's what. Okay, now let's see. So now let me bring it up.
Try switching it to another device. and then switching
Okay,
it back.
okay, Mike. That's what it was. It is those that I twisted back. You said before doing anything. Okay, now, well, check. No, talk, Mike.
1 2 1 2 test 1 2 hello world. Make sure it didn't switch devices on you,
I looked. It didn't. It's correct.
and then hit the
Well,
save
well,
button.
don't let
in
it take
Tools
over the show.
Options.
You carry on.
I wish there was a.
Normally, you were coming in at the same level as I get on the video feeds audio, but I'm not getting anything from Skype apart from a lot of static.
Hang up and try again.
Okay. Well, why would it be him if
I'll just hang up and try again. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right.
Skype does these sorts of things, and it may or may not be a Skype issue, but you haven't changed anything, so it's unlikely, hopeful that's not what it is. And you may have to close Skype and reopen it.
Yeah, I'm going to actually, before...
There you go. I was actually, what was it? Oh, after we did Rick's house yesterday, I was listening to a live broadcast by Dave Jackson. He does this thing on Saturday morning at 10:30. He was having a problem with an echo. He stopped the Mixlr stream and restarted it. When he restarted it, he was only in the left channel. Mixlr is stereo. I commented on it, and other people said no, they heard it fine, which may or may not meant that they had their system set up for stereo like I do. I decided to do a little checking, and for some reason, the problem was on my end. It turned out that this PreSonus 16.4.2 digital mixer, the right channel has switched itself over to the FireWire input.
Nice.
It was nothing I could have done. I can't even see the FireWire button from where I'm sitting. I would have to lean over to here, reach around a monitor to hit the FireWire button, which is why I could not see it immediately.
What was it hit?
I don't know. It could have been just a glitch.
What if the cat walked on it?
The cat's not here. That would have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve.
Hello, I can hear you on this one. That's why I give this one a try.
This is you coming on the other machine. Okay. Because I still don't see the...
Well, it's eliminated the fact that, something, isn't it? It's eliminated something because it's working on here.
It's the computer.
Ah, I didn't think it was you, Amnon. I would never have thought that in a million years.
Well, I mean, come on. It's electronics.
You never make a mistake, do you, Mike? He's
right,
brilliant. He never makes mistakes.
Since there's nobody on TalkShoe, now, wait, what I'm going to do is also put back the way that it was.
No, Steve,
kind of you.
If Mike
want you to
did
mess with
that,
TalkShoe.
there must be a reason.
Trimbs, if that's how you pronounce it, is said I'm 5 by 5, or 5 out of 5. Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words or the kind typing. What's happening with Facebook? People have been tagging me and saying something or another to do with, I don't know, on a picture I was associated with or something.
On what?
On Facebook.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know, because you tagged me or did something.
I tagged you that you would be on the show today, that Bruce and Spencer would not be here.
Right, because there was Bruce apparently tagged on something to do with mine. I don't know, because I don't use Facebook, as you know. And I saw that you'd tagged me as well. I was thinking, what on earth is going on? I'm getting tagged from left, right, and centre. I'm it, obviously.
Yeah, well, we didn't want you to feel left out.
Oh, bless. You're such nice people on this call. This is why I keep coming back time and time and time again.
Right. It wouldn't be the same without you, Steve.
Well, I apologize for being late today, but I did have two very good excuses.
And?
I'm hoping they're going to be okay with the teacher. One was that I was building Dad a new fence. And two, it was his birthday today, so I wanted to complete finishing off doing the fence for his birthday.
Well, good. Did you finish it?
Of course.
And what kind of fence was it?
It was a fence made out of gravel boards. I don't know what the hell you call those in the United States of America. It's usually the board that you put on the bottom that rots out less because it's been pressure treated.
Gravel
Of a wooden fence.
Would that we make fences out of what's called pressure treated lumber that is impregnated with a chemical to keep them from rotting.
Yeah, we do as well, but normally the gravel boards are pressure treated better, if that makes sense. And they usually last longer than the fence panel does.
And is it actual wood or is it a synthetic?
Yes. No, it's actually wood, and it's rough cut. About this, I don't know how big they are now, 6 foot long. But anyway, because of the wind and everything we've been having recently, a couple of his fence panels blew out and then another one blew out. And he just said, that's it, I'm not going to buy fence panels again because they're £20 a shot. And this one didn't even last 6 hours. So he just blew it to pieces. So I said, right, well, we'll make you a fence out of gravel boards and build it from scratch.
Got to see what that is. I'm curious now.
I'll see if I can find you a link.
Okay, now it's working.
It's yes, okay. Splendid.
After rebooting, Mike. Yep.
Do you want me to call in on the other one?
No, it's fine.
No, it's good.
No.
Treated gravel board. Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's the board that goes on the bottom closest to the ground or touching the ground even. It stops the actual fence fence itself, fence panel, from rotting out quicker, which is usually what happens.
I wonder if Wix is your version of Lowe's.
Stands a good chance of it being so, I would imagine. I don't know who actually owns it.
Website looks identical.
Probably then.
I have never seen this before.
Yeah, we bought 45 of them.
Phew. Gravel board. I wonder if the stuff is impregnated with something.
Yeah, it is pressure treated. It says use gravel boards to place under your fencing to prevent moisture damage to the panels. Anyway, that's not particularly technical, is it? Although it was quite technical because we were using a compressor and an air gun and staple machines and computer-controlled something went into the manufacture of some of those bits.
Very cool. What the equipment? Did you borrow it or rent it or what?
No, we built it from scratch. I've got a compressor already with a staple gun thing, and Dad's got all the tools you could ever imagine.
No kidding. That's convenient.
Very.
I got my first
84
pneumatic
today.
nail gun about 6 months ago. It's a life changer.
Unbelievably different, isn't it? I had an electric nail gun before, but it's nowhere near as it got the power to even put in half the length of clips I wanted to put in. Yeah. But yeah, to look at him out there today, I was worn out before he was, and he's 84 now. Unbelievable. Well, I don't know where he gets his energy from.
You need to drive him harder.
Yeah. Mind you, when he went in and sat down, he went, oh, isn't it nice to sit down? He did look a bit worn out, but he... So what have I missed coming in late? And you've had your hour change as well. No one told me that was going to happen.
Oh, I'm sorry. With the atomic clock forgot to notify you.
Darn it. I actually got my radio-controlled watch working this week. I'd broken it, so I took it into the time people, because that's sort of technical, isn't it? Radio-controlled watches. Yeah, anyway, took it into a watchmaker time person thing in town. And between us, we worked out where the bits that went ping as I took it apart went back. And he said, well, it ain't going to work because you've broken the antenna off. And I went, well, I didn't really want to do that on purpose, but it was accidental. But I managed to get it soldered back on, these tiny little solder pinpricks. And it's working perfectly. So I've had a really good week of things going well this week.
Well, that's good. And you got
it's a nice change.
Did he say pinpricks?
I did say pinpricks.
I got an email from Lowe's. Actually, it was a tweet because I like to keep up with some home improvement sort of things. In this tweet, they sent me, in fact, I'll show you this. This is sort of interesting. I'm going to post the link in chat. And it is a they like to post little creative ideas, they call them, and this is what they call a 10-minute book ledge. It's how you can build a ledge to go in a room, in this case a kid's room, to hold things, which I think their construction technique on this one is terrible, by the way, because they've put together this shelf using double-sided tape. But what's interesting about the post is that as I scrolled down on tools and materials, I noticed that they are using a 1/2 inch by 2 inch maple craft board, Lowe's part number 48165. Well, I looked at that and I said, you know, that would be kind of neat to have some 1/2 inch by 2 inch maple for some little things that I work on. I took this number 48165, pasted it into the search engine on the Lowe's website, and it's not there. They're sending out, posting articles about obviously trying to sell materials for projects, and they don't even have them on their website.
Did it
That
come
is called
as
a disconnect.
was it not there at all, not found, or out of stock?
Not found.
Well,
Not found.
interesting.
It's some beautiful, nice looking little pieces of maple. And they said the whole thing was not expensive. So I was curious as to how much these pieces of maple are. And I still don't know.
It's all right. Don't worry.
I want maple.
Life will continue.
It was April. I know.
I'll tell you
Pop up
what,
to
we
Canada,
sure
they
had
got
some-
loads of maple.
We had strange weather around here this week. Boy, howdy.
Man.
The western part of the state, the middle western part of the state, got a ton of ice damage. There were tens of thousands of households out of power, some of them still out of power. My best friend over in Durham had, which is he's about 20 miles away, Steve. And the ice loaded up the limbs around his house to the point that a limb from a tree broke and dropped into his living room through the roof.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, our temperature here yesterday was 67.
Wow. We've
One
had two
day.
nice days here. It was the start of spring, I think, was Thursday or Friday, and the weather's been really nice.
We had no ice whatsoever. And 20 miles away, they've got trees falling through roofs.
Good grief. That's amazing, isn't it? I'm sure it's something to do with this Hadron Collider thing that they built in, I don't know, Switzerland or wherever it is. Or
That's
fracking,
probably-
or...
Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah.
It's down to them messing
fracking,
with stuff that they shouldn't do.
It's the fracking. It's the global warming. It's, all that stuff.
I heard something rather funny the other day regarding what some people were talking about. Why is the weather changing like this? And why are we getting these huge, great big waves and swells of water and flooding and, you name it, all these weathers sort of gone completely mental. And somebody, a comedian, made the joke. He said, I know what it is. He said, it's just these damn people, scientists and people in Switzerland or wherever the hell it is with this Hadron Collider. If they really want to see something spinning or racing around at hundreds or thousands of miles an hour, they want to come down my house and look at the gas meter. I thought it was quite funny because the gas meter does spin around pretty quick.
It does. Before you guys got here, we were talking about a post I did on Google Plus about mix minus feeds, and how a guy came in and posted just a terrible solution to the problem that I was suggesting, to which I responded to him and asked him some questions about how he said that it was the same solution to my problem. He just posted a few minutes ago about his solution. He said, my setup is for the masses that just want to record a Skype call. There's no need for music, feedback, or anything else. Just those looking for a simple setup that is reliable and can record a Skype call. I like condenser mics. In my experience, most people are just looking for a method to record someone when they are interviewing or co-hosting with, and just the voices of all those on Skype are needed. This is what hurts when you try to help people, because you got these guys who have their egos tied up in these posts, and they are distracting and confusing to people who are trying to understand and learn.
I would really like to get one of those big ass microphones, like the guy that did that video that posted it on IIB.
Did the guy that made that comment, did he actually post his simpler method for doing it so
He
when
did.
you don't want music?
And if you had been here earlier, you would have seen it. But since you weren't, I'm going to post it again.
What annoys me a lot about people that make comments and things, well and good, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and
Sure.
The advice that one person gives may not suit every single person, but the average people it might. What gets me is when somebody takes the time to write and bitch about it, and says, well, you don't need all that, you don't need this, all you need is, to simplify it, blah, blah. But then they don't put what the simplify thing is. So you think, well, yeah, what you've done is come on here and have a bitch, and you've not even given the people that perhaps don't want the full whack of it, if you like, but you haven't given the option of reading the shortened version, which just goes to show that you're a moron, because all you're doing is bitching. Shut up now. Thank you for the link.
I feel your pain.
I love having a good bitch.
But,
That's what keeps the world going, doesn't it?
This guy should know better. His ego gets the best of him.
The keyboard on the streaming machine was getting curved, and I don't have much room on the disc, so I got me a nice new keyboard.
Mike, do you hear his audio cutting out?
I do, but he moves away from the microphone.
Yeah, I was showing them the keyboard, so it was between me and the microphone.
So,
Look, you can hear me?
No.
Okay. And when we started the show, I did not give credit where credit is due, because it was just Mike and me. Mike and I?
Me.
On the show. So I just wanted to say that today's show is being brought to you by thatvidblasterguy.com, Tom Sinclair, and by Adamus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. Just to do it right.
How is Tom? I haven't seen or heard of him for some time.
Same here.
Oh.
He's doing fine. He posted in IAIB in the last day or so. He's actually
That's
creating
awesome.
a new show that comes after that VidBlaster guy, and it looks like he's going to be talking about Wirecast based on where he posted.
Yeah, I saw. What's the name of it? I saw the name. But it
That
doesn't ring a bell right
VidBlaster
now.
girl. Gal. I don't know. I mean,
That VidBlaster family. It could be that VidBlaster day off. So we're talking about Wirecast.
I thought he was just using Wirecast like I do, just to stream it. He never mentioned that he was actually playing with that stuff. So what kind of show? That's interesting. I guess I need to call him.
Call him what? Vegetable? Potato? Oh, call him on the telephone.
Oh, Andrew. You really need to do the free for all. You more often.
Actually, I do believe that's actually what it was,
Really?
or maybe it was like the streaming guru or something like that. But it was definitely the streaming something.
All right, well, I'll have to go look and see.
Interesting.
I'm looking for it right now. Let's see.
I didn't see it. Then I check.
No,
IIB.
I think that actually is the name, according to Andrew.
I know you did the free for all. I was watching it for a while there.
I can find it.
Andrew, we were talking earlier. Is your live Roku feed still on? we were talking about live Roku, and yep, it is still coming from Ustream, that stream that you don't like. He's gonna say yes.
It actually is called Streaming Idiots. Andrew was right.
Better than Screaming Idiots.
Yep.
That's I don't believe that's a good name for a show.
Well, Tom's
It
age, you
depends.
have to cut him some slack.
Depends how tongue-in-cheek and how fun he's going to make it. Sometimes
Yeah.
idiot it can be a derogatory term, but equally it can be a fun term.
Yeah, it depends. Normally it's used derogatorily.
Oh gosh, that's a big word. You had illy on the end of that one.
Yeah.
Andrew is having fun.
I see we had Jorvik coming into the chat. I don't know if he's out there listening. I did get your email, Mike. Excuse me for doing something rather personal. I did get your email, Mike, but with Dad's birthday and building fences and TVs and stuff, I've no time to shake a stick.
You're building TVs.
No, the TV stuff I was doing, moving TVs.
So you
around.
were manufacturing TVs.
No, I may have been clever enough when I was a bit younger, but now I can't even remember my name when I wake up in the morning. I got to read a piece of paper that says Steve.
So did you all hear that users of Yahoo services will down the line have to use a Yahoo username to sign on to the services, as the company plans to phase out signing up to these services using Facebook and Google credentials?
Brilliant. I think that's
I
a very
agree.
good thing for all companies to do. You should have your own individual login, not
Right.
login at Facebook. Look how many businesses, websites and things like that will allow you to do that now. If somebody hacks your account, look at all the stuff that they can get into and cause havoc on. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Because the other aspect is, sorry, I was away from the microphone and I was doing an Amnon. Quite a few people, unfortunately, use the same password for lots of different accounts, so it's not really going to make that much difference, is it, in that respect? Because they'll still use password 123, whether it's Facebook or whether it's Twitter or anyone else.
Yep. I agree. That's it's a good idea for them to do it, but they also, they need to make sure that people cannot enter password 123. And they can. Look, if Ron can write something for Delta Force that when somebody changes the password, it requires it to be a certain format, Yahoo can do it.
Every service requires certain formats.
Yeah, but in a lot of places you can put password 123. Yeah, that's true. But
For example, for an Apple ID password, it needs to have a capital letter. It has to have a mix of capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols.
There you go. That's the way it should be. Everywhere. And the thing that kills me is you go to all these financial services, like to pay your credit card online or to get notifications. You cannot use symbols. Alphanumeric only. And these are the places where all these criminals go after to get in. So their crackers don't need to worry about symbols.
Yeah.
An anonymous reader, and this is from Slashdot, says Apple's efforts to bring iOS to cars will be shown at the Geneva Motor Show next week. Drivers will be able to use Apple Maps as in-car navigation, as well as listen to music and watch films. Calls can be made through the system, which will tie into the Siri voice recognition platform, so that messages can be read to the driver, who can respond by dictating a reply. Apple's partners in the automotive industry will be Volvo, Ferrari, and Mercedes-Benz to start. Apple first said they were working on this system at last year's WWDC.
I hope they ban this service.
Why?
Did you listen to what you read?
Yeah.
Listen to music and watch movies. Or watch
Well, that's
videos.
like for the back seat, probably. You know, that there'll be people, yeah.
No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you have
Yes, it
DVDs.
is.
You have DVDs for cars these days.
Yeah, you know what makes these. I don't know. I'm gonna go off on this because
Yeah.
I live in New York State and everybody here's a bunch of a-holes. But how is a voice activation service less distracting than me holding a phone up to my ear? If anything,
holding
it's
it
more
up to your
distracting.
ear is not.
Well, in New York State, it's illegal for you to talk on a cell
Yeah.
phone while driving.
I know. I
So,
don't
but
understand.
that's what I don't understand. These cars, these things, because you know what ends up happening is, for example, my father's car's got the Bluetooth phone sync thing. So the phone rings. And what's the first thing you do? You look at the phone to see who's calling.
Yeah.
Then you click the button on the overhead that answers the phone call.
Yeah.
But these services are stupid.
The only thing that makes it illegal, I think in every state, unsafe or even illegal, is because by law, I know in North Carolina, you have to have both hands on the wheel.
Oh, no, not.
By
New York
law,
State, you're not.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to ticket you, but I think
Oh.
by law you have to have both hands on the wheel.
Oh, maybe.
And at that point, if you take a hand off to do something, that's you broke the law.
But nobody
Right, yeah.
realistically
Right.
drives like that.
Yeah, but if you have to look down to see who's calling you, then that's unsafe. I
Of course.
agree. I agree.
And that's why
100%.
I think these services are stupid, because now you're going to be focusing on some like center console that you have to either tap a button on or hit the button so that it will start listening to you. These services are just more distractions. I'm sorry,
I was going when we went shooting. John has a new, I believe it's a Dodge pickup. And if he walks into the car and he's got his phone in his pocket, it connects automatically to the stereo. And as we were driving, his phone in his pocket rang, and there is no display on the dash. The music after the first ring went down, and a voice came up and say, call from such and such. I mean, it was a name of a person. And it says answer, and either he said yes or said no. And he said yes, and it answered, and he starts talking. So there was no physical interaction with anything. It was all voice from A to Z. And there was nothing to look at, because when it rang and the music went down, I'm looking on the dash, he just got the truck, to see where is it showing, and there is nowhere is there an LCD LED display to see who is calling. It actually tells you by the caller ID who it is.
all of them don't do that.
No.
I just think that these in-car iOS in the car, Android in the car things are stupid, and they're going to cause more people to kill themselves.
It's going to mature, and it's going to be safe. It's just like
It's not going to be safe.
I was
No, it's not.
told, I'm not that old, but I was told that when they started putting radios in cars, everybody says, "Oh, this is unsafe. This is going to kill people," and
It is unsafe. It's extremely
Well-
unsafe. People will go through their radio things 3 or 4 times to find a song.
Yeah, but back then they had the button that they just presets.
Well, no, but I do that all the time.
Yeah, if you
Click,
look,
click.
if you look at the set in order to find a station, then that's not
Well,
safe. I-
Sirius, if you have either Sirius or XM radio, it says the song on the thing. So you switch to the station and you look down and see what song is
Yeah,
on.
but I think you missed the point. I didn't mean that the interaction was dangerous. People were complaining. It's the fact that there's music while you're driving
Oh,
the danger. And people get used to it.
no, I don't think these services are ready.
No, they have
know
to
what?
mature, and they will not mature unless they put them in and they see what happens. And
Yeah, but these lawmakers need to get their foot out of their butt and
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
banning all this stupid shit. It's
Yeah, like
ridiculous.
that's going to happen.
Like, oh, don't talk on your cell phone. But here, buy this Mercedes Benz that has a touchscreen navigation system, and you can play the Angry Birds on your phone or on your car while you're driving.
Well, you
Well,
know
I
what the
find even-
single most distracting thing you can have in a car is
Your wife.
close. Any passenger.
here, listen to
Backseat
this.
driver. What I was going to say is what I find even more ridiculous is that you can't use your phone, you can't text, you can't do this, you can't do that, which are all sensible reasons, but they still allow people to operate CBs with microphones in their vans, in the cars. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, good point.
Linux is on a roll. After conquering the smartphone space, Android is now dominating the tablet space. According to a new study by Gartner, the tablet growth in 2013 was fueled by low-end, smaller screen tablet market and first-time buyers. This led Android to become the number one tablet operating system with 62% of the market. Also, everyone is buying tablets. 200 million sold in 2013 versus 115 million in 2012. And Microsoft still only has 2% of the tablet market.
Who does?
Microsoft,
Oh,
which they're talking about the Surface, I guess. They can't, poor Microsoft can't get out of this slump. Well,
Well, they could have avoided some of the slump by not releasing Surface and blooming Windows RT. What on earth was the point in releasing RT? It was something that just really wasn't needed. All it did at the time, releasing it at the same time was just a massive mistake because it confused everybody. How stupid can you get as a
no.
marketing exercise?
Yep. It's stupid.
It's downright silly.
Let's see what
On
else.
another topic.
Huh?
Does anyone here, well, I know you don't, obviously I'm not. Anyone here know anything about Squarespace.com?
what about it?
What do you know about them?
They're expensive. All of the websites look the same. I mean, what are you looking for specifically?
Why have I heard of them? Is this somebody Leo was advertising for?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Well, because, again, I'm moderator on a couple of podcasting groups, which really makes no sense since I'm not a podcaster and don't even like podcasting to some extent. But some guy posted in one of the groups about using Squarespace to host the media files instead of using Libsyn or Blubbery. And I was curious, and because I'd heard of Squarespace, probably through Leo, I was curious to look at their terms of service to find out if they even allowed audio or video files on their server. Well, it turns out they do. You can upload an audio file to their server so long as it's not in excess of 168 megabytes. Okay, that's reasonable. That should be fine for almost anyone. But in going through the terms of service to find out if they allow you to actually stream media files from their server, I encountered item number 24 that I will read to you now and ask how many people who are hosted on Squarespace are in compliance with the terms and conditions or terms of service. It says here that you are responsible for drafting the terms of use and privacy policy for any website hosted by us for you as part of the services. However, the terms of use for your hosted site must designate us as a third-party beneficiary and must contain intellectual property, limitations of liability, limitations of remedy, disclaimers of warranty, and indemnification provisions for each for the benefit of Squarespace, which are at least as favorable to Squarespace as contained in this agreement. You are also, hang on, you are also responsible for drafting the privacy policy for your hosted site. Your hosted site's privacy policy must contain terms that are at least as protective of a user's privacy as those contained in this agreement. You agree to indemnify and hold harmless Squarespace and its licensors, suppliers, officers, directors, employees, agents, affiliates, subsidiaries, service signs from and against any and all liability, loss, claim, damages, expense, or cost, including but not limited to attorney's fees, arising from or related to the use of, access to, interaction with, or reliance upon your hosted site, including the purchase, sale, or other distribution of commercial products. Now, don't have any issue with any of that. But my question is, how many
Can you
people,
explain that in a more layman's terms?
They are requiring you to have certain legal disclaimers on their on your website hosted on their server, that disclaimer must include them. They must be brought within that umbrella. The idea being that if someone is to sue the host, like if you have an account there, they want you to include them in this limitation of liability language, for example.
What was the thing about beneficiary?
Well, what it says here,
Yeah.
the terms of use for your site must designate us as a third-party beneficiary.
Meaning?
That is a legal term of art that designates that a party that is not an entity that is not a party to the contract is intended to be a beneficiary of that contract. And a third-party beneficiary gives that status, gives that party the right to sue on the contract, even though that party was not a party to the contract. Don't try to understand it. It's way too complex.
I thought they meant that if you're monetizing it, something from it.
But that's not my point.
Look, it's fine.
Their company, they can run it any way they want to, whatever terms and conditions they want to use. I'm all for it. My question is, how many people hosting there are going to go to their attorney to understand how to comply with that?
No, but every website does that, Mike.
About 4%, probably.
Yeah, come on.
I don't think so. I have never seen maybe I skipped the title of section 24. Terms you must post on your site.
Yeah, but
as a web developer, Nick, if you got a customer on Squarespace, you've got to create terms and conditions to go on their website to be in compliance with their terms of service.
Can you just copy their terms of service?
No, because this is not applied to the end user. This is to their user.
Maybe they have a generator.
And maybe you can. I don't know. But that's not my point. How you get there is not my point. My point is how many people bother to read this and to know that they've got that requirement.
Right.
Well, they'll probably read the first paragraph per chance if they get that far.
I've never read a terms of service. You can't even understand it. Who cares if you read it? If I was to read that whole thing, Mike, that Mike just said, it wouldn't matter what it said. I don't understand any of it. I'm not going to comply to any of it because it doesn't make any sense.
The vast majority of people are going to be exactly the same, and in fact, that's why the vast majority of people just click straight through and click OK. I read and understand.
Their attorney wanted to make sure that they have something for the thousands of dollars they pay him. Right, Mike?
I don't know. Might be.
Well, if one thing's for definite sure, if there's any problem ever does crop up, then it's going to be the attorneys that are there to sort it out, so it keeps their profession going nice and strong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Heavenly Father, please sow strife among thy people so thy servant may eat.
You have to post that too?
No, that's on mine.
Oh.
You've just got to bequeath your firstborn.
Listen to this. It looks like technical writers won't be unemployed anytime soon. According to a recent study reported by the LA Times, 11% of Americans thought HTML was a sexually transmitted disease. The study by coupon site Voucher Cloud involved 2,392 men and women 18 years of age or older. 27% thought Gigabyte was a South American insect. 23 thought MP3 was a Star Wars robot. The participants were not told that the study was specifically looking into their knowledge of tech terms. They were presented with both tech and non-tech terms and were asked to choose from 3 possible definitions. 18% identified Blu-ray as a marine animal, and 15% thought software was comfortable clothing. Is that amazing or what?
Well, how's the other half live? You're either into technology and stuff and understand it a bit, or you've no idea whatsoever.
No. I am very tempted to say that the same type of people are why we have our government there now.
Yep, just the same as what Brent said. They're probably the same people that voted for Obama.
Exactly. This is amazing. I mean, it's stuff that goes. It's not. I mean, kids know what MP3s are. I mean, it's stuff that you use. You don't have to be a geek to know these things. It's amazing. And talk about vengeance. Turkish Prime Minister is considering banning YouTube and Facebook after local elections at the end of this month. According to remarks carried by local media Friday, it may or may not be related to the criticism arising from leaked recording of his involvement with corruption. We will not let YouTube and Facebook destroy our nation. We'll win it for Mother Russia, right? No, that's something else. We will take measures, including closure. He has previously made comments against social media sites. YouTube had been banned in the country for 2 years and was recently unblocked. They did not have YouTube in Turkey for 2 years, and they just opened it up again. This is really amazing and Turkey is not a backwards country. I mean, it's not, it's pretty modern. But let's not get into politics.
Sounds like a turkey to me.
No. What else do we have here? I read somewhere, and this is not the article. I couldn't find it. That Microsoft is going to provide some paths to upgrade XP to 7 or 8. That you will be able to upgrade. And this one says Microsoft has been loudly and insistently banging a drum. All support and service for Windows XP and Office 2003 shuts down on April 8th. In early February, faced with a slight uptick in users on the decrepit operating system the month before, Microsoft hit on an idea. Why not recruit tech-savvy friends and family to tell all holdouts to get off XP? The response was a torrent of abuse from Windows 8 users who aren't exactly thrilled with the operating system. Microsoft has come under serious fire for some significant missteps in this process, including a total lack of actual upgrade options. What Microsoft calls an upgrade involves completely wiping the PC and reinstalling a fresh copy on it, which is, if you have XP, that's what you have to do if you want to go up. Or ideally, buying a new device. Microsoft has misjudged how strong its relationship with consumer and failed to acknowledge its own shortcomings. I think they should, instead of saying how strong its relationship with its consumer, it's how weak. Not providing an upgrade utility is one example, but so is the general lack of attractive upgrade prices, or even the most basic understanding of why users haven't upgraded. Microsoft's right to kill XP is unquestioned, but the company appears to have no insight into why its customers continue to use the OS. Sure, they can do whatever they want. I still know people that use Windows 2000.
Wait, so they don't understand why people are still using their OS?
That's their shortcoming, is they don't understand.
No, because
it.
people are lazy and don't want to update.
Well, it's
I'm
not.
lazy.
We talked about it yesterday, Nick. It's not
I
a
don't
matter
know.
of lazy. It's a matter of
No. What was the reason you didn't want to update?
because it's going to take me forever, and I can't afford it because I'm using the computer for business. I can't take.
Yeah, but come on. You telling me that you couldn't get that computer up in a day? You couldn't get an essential program on there in a day? It doesn't take a day to install a piece of software.
No, but you misunderstand the whole thing. Is if I get another computer, then I can do it and keep using this one and keep building the new one. Sure.
Yeah, but Amnon, you're also running a Pentium 4.
A what?
Pentium 3.
Isn't that computer Pentium 4?
Is that computer?
A Pentium 4.
Oh, no, it's not.
It is.
What is it then?
No, that was upgraded about 6-7 months ago. Now it's a 4-core or 6-core AMD. I can't remember.
Your business machine.
Yeah, it's the machine that I used to do the show with, and when I got this one, it was sitting on the side. So I said, "Well, it's time to get a little faster." I mean, is it doing anything for me? Nah.
I mean, it's really not that hard of an upgrade.
But that was easy.
I
That was easy because all I had to do is clone the drive, put it in there, and go through all the drivers. So it literally took.
You guys are older school when it comes with.
Yeah,
upgrading
and
operating
I agree.
systems.
You calling us old?
Yes, yeah. You guys are just a bunch of old guys that hate change. That's
Bunch
exactly
of
what I
old
said,
guys
Mike.
that hate changes. Absolutely.
That's why I've got Windows 8.1 on the laptop. Yes, exactly right. No, I think that there are a portion of people out there, or a percentage of people out there, that are still running on XP because they run bespoke software where the drivers haven't been updated.
Yeah, but that's not.
I
The
know
case
it's only
all the
small,
time.
but
I only have one program that is like this, and that's actually the one that is doing all the billing.
That
but
program,
that's not a big deal.
I will bet you $1,000 that program will run perfectly fine on Windows 7.
Will what?
Will run perfectly fine on Windows 7.
it's compatibility mode, yeah.
There's compatibility mode in Windows 7. I guarantee you it'll run. 150% it'll run.
Like I said yesterday, Nick, if Microsoft gives me a way to put the Windows 7 CD in there and say, "Do you want to upgrade?"
Yeah, but they're not going to waste their time with that. They're killing the operating system.
I can't find that article, but I read that that's exactly what they're going to do.
But you know what's going to happen, Amnon? What's going to end up happening? What happens if your system gets compromised and you're running Windows and it gets compromised because you're running XP? Microsoft doesn't care.
Of course they don't. But
that's why I don't think they're going to put money into an upgrade tool.
But wait, the reason why they care and they want you to do away with using XP, according to that other article that I can't find, is because Windows 7 and 8 have a lot of XP's guts. And when they stop providing support for it and plug holes, hackers could get into it and find out where to attack the newer operating systems. And that's what they want to prevent.
At the end of the day, that's the main thing of it, is to say we can get rid of all that old XP 2000 code now.
Yeah,
not straight away, obviously, but I mean, in time they'll be able to say, right, well, we can dispense with that huge, great chunk of code that we've been trying to lug around with this new code that we've got. It's just slowing everything down if they can streamline it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Tim says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're going to
Well,
claim that it's broke. But, I mean, Nick, don't misunderstand. I know that I'm going to upgrade sooner or later. It's just that it would have been sooner if there was a way to do it.
Yeah, but the point is Microsoft is not going to waste their time developing a tool for an operating system that was released 13 years ago. They don't care, and they shouldn't care. A company should not be investing money into an upgrade tool for an operating system that's 13 years old. There's no reason for them to do it.
They care about getting it out of circulation. They don't want it there.
But you know what? Even if they do have an upgrade tool, people still won't upgrade. That's the point. And they know the people are not going to upgrade because people are just so set in their ways. And then they'll be the first ones to jump on Microsoft's back and say, "Hey."
A lot of people would have gone from XP to Vista and to 7 if there was an upgrade path, but there was not. And that's why it's stuck. Because that's the first time that there was no upgrade path. You had to completely reformat and install new operating system. And not everybody can have 2 computers to work with. I mean, at least I'm fortunate that I can put another machine on the side and do it and use both with a KVM or whatever, but not everybody can do this. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping that they will come up with something.
Well, as do I. Don't take that as I don't want them to.
Oh, no, I know that you do.
They just they have no reason to do that.
No.
I mean, think about it like this. They look at it like this. If you already haven't wasted your time, if you already haven't upgraded, you're probably not going to do it now.
Then again, it's one of their shortcomings.
I wouldn't call it a shortcoming at all.
I would, because I haven't done it so far, and I want to do it. And it's wrong for them to think that if I haven't done it so far, that I'm not going to do it anyway, because that's not the way I am. So that's.
Let's be perfectly honest here. I know that you say it would take you days to get your software back, but it really won't. I assure you it won't. I really know for a fact it won't. I just completely wiped a drive, reinstalled Windows, installed all of my programs, and then brought all of my data over. And it didn't take multiple days. It was a Saturday. I spent the whole day doing it, and I was completely done by the end of Saturday. I had all the essential programs I needed.
If that was the streaming machine or something like that, it would take no time. But my machine that I use for the business,
how many programs do you have on it?
Oodles.
But how many is oodles?
And the truth is, a lot of them I cannot reinstall because a lot of them came also from that giveaway of the day. That they give you that for one day you get that program for free, and a lot of these editors and things, you can install it that day, but that's it. If you install it the next day, forget it. You can't. You have to go buy them. But if there is a path, it goes. But that's not the point. The point is you want to be able to put a CD in, go drink a cup of coffee, eat lunch, whatever, and when you come back, all you have to do is deal maybe with drivers. Ideally, it will go out and say, okay, I need this driver and this driver and this driver. Or it will have a utility that will go out and check to see what drivers you have. Just like, which program was doing that, Mike? Was it 98?
I don't remember.
There was one that you would run a utility before, or maybe it was XP, before installing it. And it will tell you what it requires. And it will go and download, while you're still operational, it will go and download the new, put them somewhere, and then upgrade and use them. It can be done. They just chose not to do it. I don't know why. I know they have a reason. But no, I mean, if it was a situation where I could do it easily and without interruptions to the daily routine too much, I would have done it. I mean, I took the time to upgrade the machine, but
And that's what I'm saying. There you go. You wasted time, and I say wasted because I'm going to get to that later. You wasted time upgrading the machine, but you wouldn't upgrade the operating system.
right, because all I had to do is take a drive and put it in there and deal with the change of hardware problem, which was not a big problem.
I think it would have been easier if when you upgraded the machine, you were to install Windows 7. You wouldn't have had any of these issues.
Maybe. You have a fresh mind on your shoulder. Ours is already pickled. Oh, mine is.
No, but it's just the point of where like, and I don't mean anything against you with this, Amnon. People will like do some type of upgrade, like upgrade a machine, use an old operating system,
Yeah.
and then when they want to upgrade the operating system, they'll say, "Oh, look at how long this is going to take." But if you did it the first time when you upgraded the machine, if you upgraded the operating system, it would have been much easier. Don't you think?
No.
Because you would have had that old machine still up and running with all of your data on it, and you could have taken your time getting the new machine up, installing Windows 7,
That's
installing your programs. But
that,
you didn't.
Yeah, that I probably could have done, except for some reason I chose not to. Why was it? There was, I mean, I thought
Probably because it will take you hours or days to get the machine exactly as you want it, with everything exactly in its correct position, with all the little
but if
utilities
I
and
have-
everything else installed.
But if I have the old machine that I'm using already, then it's fine.
So
I can't
in order to
remember
get the
why.
new
There was a
machine,
reason why I didn't do it.
in order to get the new machine into a very similar situation and condition, in order for you to operate as you did on the old one, it's going to take hours
It's
and
going
hours
to
and
take
hours.
days and weeks.
Well,
But
it took me best part of the week last week to get my systems up and running and working again, with everything installed and set as I like it to be set.
Yeah.
So I click on something and I know it's going to be there, rather than thinking, where the hell's this thing gone?
right, I mean, when you have a clone of the drive, a backup, you're not worried much.
As long
But
as you've got
that's
something
not
like
going to do. That's not going to do anything for the new operating system.
no. As long as you've got something like Universal Restore that Acronis TrueImage has, then
Yeah.
as long as that does work, restoring to different hardware, invariably it just fails, doesn't it? Unless you've got a program that takes that into account.
It's all
And a
right.
lot of people don't. That's one of the biggest things that puts me off updating computers or installing a new computer, is the fact that it's going to take 3 days to get it exactly set just as I like it.
This is what Eric is saying.
But think about that. 3 days, and then it's set for how many years?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
3 days is an awfully long time when you've got loads of other things that's going on as well.
So
It's
what would
sort
you
of-
rather happen? Spend 3 days upgrading to the most recent version of your OS, or be compromised because Microsoft is going to disable service for Windows XP?
Well, I don't have any machines running XP anymore. I could do if I switched one on, it would have XP
Yeah.
on it, but
Yeah,
I
but
haven't.
like
I've
in
gone to-
Amnon's case, like they don't care if there's a huge security vulnerability. Amnon, you said you use that machine for business.
Yeah.
That would be irresponsible of you not to be running a version of Windows that Microsoft isn't supporting.
To a point, it would be.
But then Amnon is proficient enough to know that he can lock his machine down irrespective of what
It is
security
locked.
vulnerabilities
It
there
is
are.
locked.
Yeah, but
because-
it being connected to the internet with Microsoft not performing updates, that's a huge security risk.
Not if you
Well,
leave all your
running
ports
Windows is a
ports open
security
and stuff.
risk.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Turning the computer on in the first place is a security risk.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Amnon going to do? Go back to CPM because not a lot of people are using it like Macs?
That would be good. I can pull out my TI-99 4A and
There you go.
yeah. No, it'll happen. I mean, to tell you the truth, I will write a check for $1,000 for somebody if I knew that I can say, here, do it,
I'll do it.
and then come back after a few days and everything is there the way that I want it. You'll never, nobody. I mean, this is
I'd do it. I don't mind doing it for other people. I just don't want to do it for myself.
you'll never,
That's the way
you'll
it
never
works.
be able to do it.
No, I'll tell you what I do,
Amnon,
Amnon.
I'll drive down to Raleigh and do
Yeah.
it for you.
What,
Yeah,
Mike?
I'll tell you what I do, Amnon, and it's the only way I've found, because you and I are the same way about this
Yeah.
problem. And what I do is I always, when I get a new computer, one by one, I start moving my applications from the old one to the new one. And I finally get to the point that retiring the old computer is not such a big deal,
Right.
and it's not a lot of work.
Absolutely. That's the only way that I'll be doing it, and I have to start. And being busy, that's not high on the priority list right now.
And the hardest part about the transition is at some point you have to tell yourself, all right, I'm not going to turn on the XP computer until I need it. And over time, you will find yourself leaving it off for long periods of time.
Right.
Then you'll realize that you can cut it loose.
Exactly. I mean,
But you have to
Nick,
take,
if
but
you
you have
were
to take
here,
that first step, and that's the problem.
Nick, I have under my counter behind me about 4 or 5 computers that haven't been touched in years.
Okay.
Starting with Windows 3.1 on one of them, going to 95, going to 98, 2 versions, because exactly what Mike was just saying. It's there. If back then, if something happens, I can always take it. By the time you want to do something with this, come on, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to do anything with that computer. But you leave it there.
Always handy to have a backup and a backup of a backup and a
that's
second
not-
machine.
Yeah, but that's not Windows 3.1 is not a backup of anything.
No, but if it was working at the time and you think
Yeah.
to yourself, like in my situation last week where I messed up 2 computers and I had nothing to get going, if I didn't have an old machine that I could switch on and at least put USB drives and things like that into,
Yeah.
I'd have been in a right pickle.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's something to say to that for a short while. After that, it becomes just, it is exactly what Mike says. After a while, you just leave it alone and you don't even get to it. You just say, well, oh yeah, I do need that thing. And you go get it. And before long, you got all those little things. And I know yesterday I told you, Nick, that I always delete everything that I don't need, but I will probably find things, oh, I don't use this anymore. I don't need
Yeah,
it.
see?
Yeah. Oh, it happens. I mean, the best intentions, you know.
I don't know, you youngsters, you're so lucky. Back in the day, we had 256K floppies, and then it went to 1.4 meg, and it was like, wow,
Yep.
we could fit the whole world on this.
Yeah. 180.
And now you've got USB drives that is universal from one machine to another, and it's, you put your whole life on it. It's like, wow, you have things so much more lucky.
Yeah.
And then you moan about it. You think, no, that's all we've got. We need it better. We need it faster. You know, think back 20 years ago, and it was all early, right at the very front of the technology, and we thought having a 1.4 megabyte floppy was the bee's knees.
I told Katie last night that I will mention this. Katie does animation, and she really needs a fast computer. So we built her one with the 4770, and Nick was saying, what was it, the 760? The
GTX 760.
GTX, yeah. She did not put that in there yet. It's
Okay.
still in the old computer. And she went and she's using it, and they have in the profession, there's some program that you run that tells you how fast your computer renders and does. I mean, so her computer scored 753 with the internal video.
Out of 1,000?
I don't know that it's out of 1,000. I think it goes higher and higher and higher, whatever.
Oh, all right.
A friend of hers who they graduated together in California has a lot of money. Her father's got money, so she ended up buying the latest MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
with all the bells and whistles and the best, this and that, and something like $40-some $100. And when she ran that program, and I can't remember the name of it, it scored 610.
Well, of course, you also have to remember it's a laptop.
No, it's not a laptop.
You said a MacBook Pro.
A Pro. A MacBook.
You meant a Mac
no,
Pro.
what is the other one?
The one that looks like a trash can is a
Yeah.
Mac Pro.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a Mac Pro. Okay.
Right.
Are you sure it's the Mac Pro? Not
Yeah,
the
it's the
MacBook
one
Air,
like
though?
a trash can. Because I said, you
Okay.
mean
Yeah.
that trash can? She said, yeah. And she told her that. She said, I couldn't wait to tell her. And she really is saying that it's amazing. Even in the office, there are computers there that are high powered, that are not scoring as high as that. And I'm saying, Katie, you don't have anything special here. This is a computer that I would sell to a business to do office.
Well,
So-
you would sell it. You'd sell a 4770 to a business.
In a
I
heartbeat.
can't find anything else. I mean, if I
Oh.
wanted to get a 3770, it will cost more because they don't
Yeah.
have it. I mean, my local distributor does not have it. They don't stock it. So I said, well, I want you to really, I want you to take the machine, bring it over here, take it to your dad, let him change the video card because I can't wait to see what it's going to do with that card in there. Because if it's doing that with the internal video, onboard video, it'll be interesting to see what it does. But she was saying she spent $40-some $100 and she's not even getting as
Yeah,
high
but she
as
gets
I
to
am.
use a Mac.
But
She gets to use a Mac.
a
so
lot
that
of
makes it
people,
worthwhile.
they want the Mac for graphics.
What you don't understand, Amnon, is at
Yeah.
600, that Mac is really running twice as fast as the one at 700.
It may be, but this is
Right.
the program that they use to judge whether they're going to use it for rendering and animation or not.
Well, they've
This is
found
old
new ways
news.
to use memory.
What?
Yeah, I mean, this is old news.
What? That the Mac Pro is not.
Yeah,
No, that it's better, even though the numbers are lower. That's kind of like global warming causing ice.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and to end this, there's something for you, Steve. A UK charity that provides help and guidance for women seeking abortions has been fined £200,000 after a hacker breached its website in 2012 and was able to gather data on 9,900 people that had requested help from the organization. I mean, it's for Steve because that's where it's at, but it's for everybody, actually. The hacker was given almost 3 years in jail for the attack. The charity's CEO has condemned the decision, arguing it rewards the hacker for his efforts. The data was unintentionally stored in their CMS after miscommunication with a contractor, and they never performed security audits. Martin S. writes, the BPAS is appealing a $200,000 fine imposed by the ICO after their website was hacked by an anonymous anti-abortion extremist. The amount is particularly egregious when perpetrators of willful data theft often attract fines of only a few £1,000s. And that is the thing here. So you go and you hack into a computer and you steal data and you find just a few thousands, and here's somebody who was broken into. Now, they absolutely are responsible. They did not do their job, and they're fined $200,000 pounds for that. How many dollars did healthcare.gov had to pay when people were getting in there and doing that?
You don't understand.
Yeah, I know I don't. I don't want to understand, okay? Amazing. But anyway. Okay. And with that, anybody has anything else to add here?
I think I'm going back to bed.
What?
I think I'm going back to bed.
No, you're not. You're going to go and work on wood.
No,
I
actually,
know
I'm not.
you. I know you. Whoops. Oh,
Who was that?
that was me closing Block Talk Radio because it already stopped.
Oh,
And I didn't realize it. The regular Skype will allow one incoming, one outgoing. Oh no, it will. I mean, as far as sound, I mean audio only, it allows more. Because Steve is on it too. I was afraid I hung up on him. Anyway, all right. Nick, tell people about a rapid fire report, please.
Okay, so I'm not going to bore them, but I'll quickly.
You are
go
not
over
boring
this.
anybody. You tell us what you do.
So I'm starting
I'm
a new daily. What was that, Mike?
nothing.
Okay. I'm starting a new daily podcast called the Rapid Fire Report, rapidfirereport.net, and the whole point of the show is to do a quick 1 to 3 minute audio only show to just quickly wrap up the news from the day. And we're going to start on Monday, and it will be released daily. Really quick episodes, strictly just, this is what happened today, and then we'll move on from there.
It's about gaming, though, right?
Yeah, gaming and tech, just big news stuff.
Right.
Just
And
like
how are you
his
going
show.
to distribute it?
RSS, it's on iTunes. Yeah, you can
Are you going to have an email list?
email list.
Ooh, that's a good way to do it too.
People who would want to be notified that one has been released and that you would email them the link on a daily basis?
A lot of people
I guess
don't.
I guess I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to get an RSS aggregator,
Well,
whatever.
it's not just that, Amnon. Some people want the convenience of clicking on the daily email.
I guess I could do that.
Yeah,
that's not a bad
a
idea.
good point. Good.
And as it progresses and you build up a listenership, are you going to be perhaps extending it a little bit and maybe taking online calls and discussion?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that. I forgot to mention that. So the show will be released Monday through Wednesday and Friday, and Thursday nights I do a podcast called On the Radar. That's a longer format. That's anywhere between half an hour and an hour, where we go into more detail about all the news and stuff.
Okay.
So the whole point of this is just if people don't want to watch something longer form, they can watch this or listen to this and then can be all ready for the week. And if they want to listen to the show and get more details, they can. If they don't want to, they don't have to.
Yes, Steve.
That
This is
sounds
going to be.
awesome.
This is just like a few minutes. I mean, literally.
Yeah, like if
Like
you were to
a
listen
tech
to
bite.
like CNN and Fox News, they do these like quick minute and a half hourly updates, something similar to that, where it's just quick
And you
to the
moved
point.
your show from Friday to Thursday.
Yeah, now Thursday nights at 7.
So
That's better because it's more convenient for people in Europe if it's 7.
Yeah.
Maybe not Europe, for UK perhaps, because 7 o'clock is midnight for us here.
yeah, but it's Friday night
Still
versus
same time.
Thursday is
It's
good.
just- yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
And thank you. And you can find out more about what Nick is doing if you go to craigdigitaldesigns.com. That's his main website. And if you need a Roku app, Nick builds these too, develops them. Mike? Anything you want to add?
No.
If anybody wants free help with... Oh, never mind. I'm not...
Nope. I'm about to learn my lesson.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's good. I mean, it's never late. Better late than never.
Screw the world.
Yeah. All right. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I'll be early next week because it's 1 o'clock instead of 2 p.m. UK time for another week at least.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. As Nick is lip-sync over there, what I'm saying. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm not going to get into this too much now. Tune in tomorrow morning at 11 for the Health In Show. At 1 o'clock, it's the Breaking Free. And tomorrow is also at 7 p.m. Eastern is the Tanya Love Show. See you, everybody. Uh-oh.
Darn button.
It's like, there it goes.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, and if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.